I'd like to open the meeting at 7:31. The July 8th Conservation Commission meeting. Anybody got any omissions or corrections to the minutes?
There are 2 minutes to be reviewed. Do you want to start with the third?
Yeah.
Okay, I had one thing for the Littleton Free Library. It doesn't mention that we actually decided on design, but I'm pretty sure that we decide on a particular one.
Yeah, plastic versus wood.
Yeah.
So there were 2 suggestions.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which one we decided on.
The wood one.
The wood one, the more natural one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe mention that. And also in the expenses signature authorization, it says both of us, but then it says as one of 2. So I think you mean to say as the two.
Yeah.
And the remainder is just little edits.
Okay.
Anybody else got any comments?
I had one additional comment from a content standpoint under 86 Colonial Drive. I'll give you my note, Amy. Down, looks like maybe 4 or 5 sentences from the end, it said, stones that were placed to channelize the stream bank will be removed, at least in part, to allow full connection between the stream and the restored wetlands. And we also discussed about to allow wildlife access, like for turtles, that would be blocked by the channelization. So it was, you understand that, Amy? And I caught a typo on page 1, which I'm sure Anna caught.
The B.
Yeah, I caught that one too. Too late.
Anybody else got any omissions or corrections?
So the next one? June
No,
17th? Oh, for that one.
Vote on this one first. Somebody want to make a motion to accept, I believe it's the June 3rd.
I'll motion to accept the June 3rd minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's go back to the other one.
June 17th?
Yeah, I have one comment on that myself. It seemed like it came across pretty strong about telling the homeowner they shouldn't use Roundup. And I think it's something,
Agree.
it's all right, but I don't know, I'm not sure we should be telling people what to do at this point.
Yeah, I don't think we
Yeah, that
tell
wasn't-
anybody what to do. Anything
That was
else.
them saying that.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
unclear too who said what, and, I mean, they did mention Roundup, and then we had a discussion surrounding how widespread it is for homeowner use and how that was perhaps problematic, but I don't recall taking a stance on it
Yeah,
in any
And
formal.
we probably shouldn't, yeah.
yeah. So that could be
Yeah.
Just
modified.
clarified, maybe.
Also, and I think they just made a general statement about synthetic pesticides, including Roundup, or such as Roundup,
That's
maybe as
true.
an example.
Yeah.
Encouraging organic pesticides.
Anybody else, you got any comments on that, on that?
The special town meeting warrant review. I think maybe it could say a couple of reasons why, or how it could impact how land use permits are issued. I thought we discussed that the wording is too broad and that it may negatively impact how land use permits are issued. As a reason why we wouldn't support it.
And it dictates our decision-making process in favor of certain groups.
Right, yep.
And that conservation really wasn't the subject of it, and so we were concerned that we really weren't considered, even though we have, care, custody, and control of probably the most town land.
Right. Yeah, so more information on why we don't support it would be great.
But actually, bottom line is it got voted out, right?
It did ultimately.
So, I mean,
after
that's
that.
the bottom line, it didn't happen.
Although that came after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, but I'm just.
Yeah,
So-
that's good. Also, you mentioned that Rachel Robinson left early. However, the first vote, you have 5-0. I'm not sure if you mean 6-0 in the application for commission vacancy.
That happened at the end of the night.
No, that's at the beginning.
The discussion happened at the
discussion,
beginning,
but the
but the
vote was at
vote
the end.
happened at the end.
Yeah, we took that was after everything was
Wasn't here,
done.
but I can.
That's why it says later in the evening.
Yeah, no, the vote did happen at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because we were
later
like,
in the
oh, should
evening.
we should probably, do we need to take a formal vote? We should probably do that.
Recommendation.
Yeah, vote to recommend.
Oh, I got it, okay.
Yeah. So it is, I was thinking about that too. The timing is not accurate, but the content
But the
is.
content is, yeah. Okay.
Is there?
Oh, okay, so, yeah, and
Oh,
I
it's
also
later.
noticed that it didn't say when she actually left, so, but since the latest votes on Kinghorn Conservation said 5-0, I assume she left before that. But, doesn't
She
say
left
when.
between Moore Lane and Taylor, 225 Taylor. I remember that.
Yeah, I usually have that
It's like,
stuck
all
in
right,
there, but yeah.
Because it started like after 10.
Yep.
I do recall.
Just one more thing, actually, sorry, just two more things. The continued public hearing, notice of intent, Crestview and Boxborough Roads. In the middle of that paragraph, it says there was a discussion of the proposed land gift, which would include an easement along the Farrell's property. I think it would be helpful to say where the Farrell's property is. I think that's the one with the stone wall, and the easement is along the stone wall, right along the property line.
Yeah.
But then there's no path through the property, so maybe just describe that. Well, it's the path from the road to up along the property line. And then just one more, and the potential wetland violation. 5 Scott Road, it says, the arborist's finding was that the trees are healthy and that the root system is stable. Are we talking about that one tree, that one big tree that was particularly smothered? Or are we talking about in general, all the trees along or on
He
that
looked
slope?
at that one maple in specific, and the other one, and the slope kind of in general.
And because it was growing up the hill, the verbal finding was that the roots had grown like up and into the slope.
It had stabilized
to-
and,
which he said was actually a good thing from a stabilization standpoint, and that slope was, basically helping, but we're awaiting the arborist actual report.
right.
Which
If we're
they have
looking-
submitted the letter, but
Okay.
we'll see, you'll see it at the next meeting.
Okay, well, then maybe just make it consistent, if it says the trees are healthy and that the all the root systems are stable, or
Yeah.
that one single tree, the root system is, I wasn't sure which one
Right,
it meant. Okay, and that was it.
I have a couple things in addition to what I said. Under the land use permit, this third sentence in, it says the commission expressed concern over the activity. I was thinking we should add some information about the concerns, safety concerns regarding digging holes, the potential liability to the town, and then, just kind of desecrating the land with holes all over the place
Yeah.
and potential vegetation. So I just thought we should provide a little more detail about some of our concerns. And then under 26 Deer Run, request for minor modification. The second sentence, other minor changes to the septic system, shed, and utilities would also occur. It was really the location of these things. It wasn't to the design of them. So I was thinking we should say that, because that minor changes to,
The location.
it's really the location.
Yeah.
It wasn't, the shed was just going from one side to the other. The
piping was
utilities,
moving,
the
yeah.
piping, might be slightly different length, but it really was
Yeah.
a function of the location. Because to me, if I read that later, you're like, well, those are quite a few things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
haven't changed, and that's what I had.
Anybody else?
One quick point, just from what I was hearing, when you were talking about pesticides, did you want to say pesticides and herbicides? We're talking about Roundup?
It started with the herbicide discussion, and then it
Okay.
ended with then it also mentioned pesticides,
Just wanna
so
make sure.
had both in that same paragraph, but, yeah, the only one that was talked about eliminating is specifically Roundup, but they didn't mention a specific herbicide.
I mean, you can get herbicides in fertilizer too.
Yes.
That can happen that way too. So it's, pesticide is the label for the whole thing.
Right.
Then it goes into herbicides or
Or
insecticides.
insecticides, right.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion to accept the minutes if there's no more questions or additions?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as amended, dated June 17th, 2019.
Here a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, I meant to say fertilizer, nice.
Looks like down the administrative discussion, we got the Brown properties. Somebody want to talk to that?
Chase, I thought was gonna talk about it, but maybe he's not gonna be here, so I will just summarize real quick, and actually, why don't we put that off in case he shows
Okay.
up?
Commission vacancies, that's been filled, right?
Yep, I just wasn't sure, so I had it on there, or,
Land use permit for Bumblebee parking lot, what's that?
he never reapplied, so it will just be for, is it Boxborough, Harvard? One of your neighbors, I think Harvard is, pardon?
What, Stowe?
Thank you, maybe it's Stowe. Or having, that's right, yeah, because it's your property. Is having a bike-a-thon, they wanted to use the Bumblebee parking spot as somewhere where someone can just set up a water table. But as Jim pointed out, it's theirs. Which didn't even occur to me, so never mind.
Wait, the parking lot at Bumblebee is.
It's across the
belongs to
street
Stowe?
from the
Across the
gate.
street.
It's trust property, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Check. All
interesting.
right, so we can refer them to LCT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, land use permit, date change, Topher Swamp, October 20th.
Yeah, you had approved that was the
run.
the trail race, and they had to change it for, I forget why,
The
but it's,
PTA color run, it conflicted, so they
Yeah.
could support the PTA color run.
yeah, so they moved it to October 20th,
Yeah.
and I assume that's,
Yeah.
doesn't make any difference. It does not interfere with any of the canine stuff, sorry, they already know about it, so.
Okay.
Request for certificate of
Do we need to
compliance.
vote on that?
I don't think so,
Or we're gonna-
I think, yeah.
Request for certificate of compliance, 537 Great Road, Mass DEP, file number 204-598.
537 Great Road actually had submitted for a certificate of compliance 10 years ago, whenever this was, and it just never got acted on for whatever reason. So, and they had pictures and everything from then, and it looked perfect. You're supposed to put up boulders and everything. And when I went out there, it's an absolute example of how not to maintain a.
Oh, no.
So it was Bruce Greenwald was the engineer, and they did great. They were very cooperative. They were out. Well, they're looking to sell the property. They were out there immediately. You know, you go in, you go to the end of the parking lot, you look down the hill in the wetlands. Oh, look, there are the boulders. So the boulders were pushed over. The lawn clippings followed. So you know
they were working on it?
they pulled it all out.
Okay.
Yeah, a week or two ago. So, and they seeded, they put down a little bit of jute netting, so.
So it needs to grow before we can give them a certificate of compliance?
It's,
I mean, does it meet the conditions?
it meets the
in its current
conditions.
state?
Well, it is kind of weird, because it is almost like it had the certificate, it was ready for the certificate of compliance. It's almost kind of in an enforcement order, but I'm not gonna issue an enforcement order.
Right,
Because
right.
they were out there, they cleaned it up. I'm not 100% convinced grass, it's very shady out there,
So
which is
we'll
why I say
go
you
back.
should put down some jute netting and they'll take care of it, so.
So tell them to reapply again, or?
Well, they did reapply. I didn't make them pay again. But, so, because the forms had all changed. So it's all there.
So is it more of a wait and see how it,
It's, well, and actually, the next one, 22 Cricket, is, in my opinion, much more of a potential wait and see. That was the one with really steep slope, and you had to do the septic and the well, because the well was actually out in the lake somewhere. And that is definitely not growing.
Is that the blue house?
I forget what color it is.
Wait, the well is in the
Well.
lake?
The well was, and so they had to
Yeah,
put a
they-
new
I
one
remember,
up on
yeah.
the shore, and they're trying to squeeze the well in, and the septic
Right.
system, and the radiuses with the abutters stuff on there.
It's a shallow well, too.
Yeah, and
20 feet
then
or something.
I'm in conversation with her because as they were doing the piping for the septic system and/or the well, the trucks went down on the side, and I said, well, you gotta stabilize that. And she's like,
Yeah, we had a lot of concerns
and
on the call
then
about
they also
stabilization.
took out
Steep.
the retaining wall that was down there. I wasn't on the site visit when you guys did it. The retaining wall that was at the bottom fell apart, and they rebuilt it. I said, so we're in the midst of discussions
Yeah.
with that one. So I, in my opinion, that one was not ready. 537 Great Road, I kind of thought might be there, but
So, I mean, jute
Either way.
netting's not really a permanent
No, it's not, yeah.
until stuff grows.
yeah.
And they may need to do more stabilization, so what happens if we sign off on this and they sell it and then we have like I guess we can just do enforcement? Is that your thought? I mean, is there a timeline for sale?
They were closing, I can't remember now if it was last week or this coming week.
Okay.
And that, which is why they were so motivated to do everything. And, I basically told them, I can't say you got your certificate of compliance. I can say that you're on the way there and you've done what you need. It may be a grass growing type
Yeah.
of situation. So I'm not sure if the closing went ahead or not.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, I don't think
Yeah,
we
so
would
let's-
be ready to,
Yeah.
okay. So we just more or less table the two of them for the time being until,
Yep.
okay?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Steve Moore from the PMBC. Is there any chance we could take out of order the road down below the proposed library? We have most of the people in the audience. Here for that.
Yeah, they're on for the 7:45 if you want to put the
Okay.
rest of this to the end.
Yeah. Okay. Discussion, new library project?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Steve Moore. I'm chairman of the PMBC. We're managing the project for the library. This is Mark Rombacher. He's chairman of the Board of Trustees.
I should know.
municipal building committee.
Permanent municipal building.
Municipal building.
Yeah. So we handle all the town property. We met 2 weeks ago. We have a working group. Chris showed up at the meeting to, I'm sorry, Matt. Matt showed up at the meeting to bring into our discussion some of the concerns of the Conservation Committee. So we thought that was prudent to start this conversation earlier than later. The next day, we met with the chief and the deputy chief, and then went up to meet with Amy regarding the use and reuse of the existing roadway below the proposed library site. And Mark is here. Mark and Dave are representing the library. This is Chris
Garcia.
Garcia, thank you.
Garcia, Garcia D'Souza. We are the civil engineers on the project.
Did you guys all sign in?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is Mike Scuduto. He's a member of the PMBC also. Of course, you guys know the chief, and what I'm going to do is turn it over to the chief because he's going to explain the need for his department's use of that roadway. relative to the construction of the new facility. Chief?
So basically, for this facility on the slope site, we're trying to maintain the access around the back of the facility. One of the, or actually, the other day when we walked the trail from the schools into Shattuck Street, the best access is going to be from the bottom. It's where the road is the widest right now. Right now, it's emergency access from the schools up to Shaker Lane if we needed, if we didn't have another egress out on Russell Street, so we can evacuate the facilities up that access road. The thing that we are trying to maintain is well, what's required is access around the back of the building for fire apparatus. Emergency access only. We're not looking for a paved road. It can be, the loom can be removed. They can put in a grade base, and they could put in an eco stone and grow grass over it or something like that. It just has to be an access road, minimum of 14 feet wide, that can support fire apparatus to go around the facility.
How much weight have you got, how much weight should it support?
I believe the new tower is going to be about 45 ton. So that's
90,000 pounds.
it's a heavy truck. So the existing loom isn't going to qualify for supporting those vehicles, especially down there. With that the old access road, it may need to be adjusted a little bit and brought a little bit closer to the facility. But it's whatever is going to allow us access to the baseball field on the other side. And like I said, it can be, as long as the base is there, you can put loom down on top of it and grow grass on it. It just needs to be some material that's going to support apparatus if it needed to gain access to that side of the building.
So right now, the material is insufficient? It
Correct.
needs work, okay.
It needs to be replaced.
How wide is it now?
It's just
Yeah,
grass.
it is.
It's just loom right now.
Right
How
now,
wide is it, do you know?
It varies between 10 and 12 feet.
Okay, so a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Does it have to be straightened out? According to this drawing, I would think it would be somewhat hard to navigate it.
The only, when you come up the existing paved section, that area might need to be widened up a little bit to, to accommodate that. We put in a T turnaround in that area so that either you can go in and back in or back out in that location.
That's not actually on the drawing, that's just.
Yeah.
It's
Offset
off,
parking lot.
yeah.
Would you be considering turning around where the ball field is?
We'd rather turn around on the paved surface.
I'm just,
So if you drive in forwards, are you going to back all the way back out?
That's why we'd need the T-turn.
Okay.
Right, in the access portion that goes behind the library to the existing path that goes up to Shattuck Street.
So it's like here-ish? Can you point on it? Yeah, okay. I think we're looking at the same spot. So like right here or so?
See where we're going, yeah, so
Yeah,
it would be here,
exactly right.
right. So this
Okay.
is, the existing
Yeah.
road comes up, goes all the way up to Shattuck Street. But from this point here down to the schools, it's the widest, the best,
Yep.
the best access on it.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely around
then,
here.
yeah, so
probably
in this,
on the
in
side
this
of the
area,
street.
it would need to be modified just to accommodate a swing and stuff like that. And then you could back out into that T area with minimal disturbance for the area.
you're gonna drive up to the ball, towards the ball field at some point.
Yep.
I'm questioning
Yeah, the
the
curve.
turn there, whether you,
And that may be something that, as you go, a portion of this road may be better off, being a little bit closer to it. All depends on how the construction goes, and obviously it's not optimal if it's right against it, but as long as we can get the access to the back of the facility.
We've received all the turning radiuses and the weights from the chief and the deputy, and then we've relayed that over to Chris. So, we don't have all that information to present tonight, but, we certainly could, we'll work on that.
Okay.
So do you access the ball field from there now? Because you mentioned access to the ball field earlier.
Yes.
So you do, you
We
just
could-
drive right
We could
through?
pull it in, the ambulance could pull it in there.
Okay, yeah.
The
Ambulance
fire
would be
engine
easy.
would, but yeah,
The big guy
Yeah.
would be different.
exactly.
I guess if the field catches fire, you just kind of leave.
Not worried about getting the trucks, in on that.
In that
on
close,
area,
yeah.
But it's more for
Yep.
the facility itself,
Yep.
you know.
Just thinking about logistics.
I mean, we still have access to the field from up above and everything like that,
Mhm.
but once the building is up, you have limited access, you know, obviously from the
Right.
front side of the building, from the parking lot, and then on the back, you have a full 2 stories.
Right.
And that's where the challenge changes.
Yep, right, and you're downslope from it
Yep.
to begin with.
Right.
So it sounds like we need to expect to see some redesign of the road where that curve is. Does that sound right?
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty
Right.
low right there.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
lowest point of the road,
Yeah,
right,
familiar.
you know, in the swamp.
Well, and trying to get the big fire truck around,
Yeah,
I
no.
think would pose a challenge, and it's the farthest point from the building.
The town always went in there, I believe, with just 6 wheelers. They brought in a lot of fill over the years for the ballpark.
Yeah.
What's the dark green area? Is that temporary grading or?
This area?
Yeah.
That's wetlands, I believe.
I think that's
No.
just an area, I mean, it's a wooded area that we were not going to disturb.
Okay.
You know, this is the
Oh, right.
50-foot, this
Yep.
would be, is the 50-foot no disturb line as of now,
Okay,
based
thanks.
on the delineation.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't, everything we're looking to do is probably, I mean, we would obviously hold that east edge. We don't obviously want to encroach any more on the wetland. This would be, as we said, this is about 10 to 12 foot wide, so that 4 foot, 2 to 4 foot increase would be going to the west towards the building. But this would just be an area that wouldn't be disturbed.
And
I mean,
think that-
ideally, you'd move the road a
Hey.
little bit closer to the building and then restore right next to the wetland.
If we had to improve this turn, that's
Yes.
probably what we would do,
Yeah.
you know, and then look to take this gravel out and,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be nice.
I
What
just
were you
see
gonna say?
over it. Okay, anything else you want more? Do you want to add?
Chief?
No, again, the access is the key. You know, if we had to get the ladder truck back there, that's a 16-foot spread to set it up. But like I said, as long as it has a solid base underneath, it can be loomed and seeded above. So you can, you know, restore some type of vegetation to it or something, as long as we have a good solid access road that goes around.
But it's okay if all those trees are still there?
Well, honestly, we'd have to check. On the bend, there's a big, I think a big maple that kind of goes, it's leaning pretty far over. That wouldn't, the apparatus wouldn't clear that. And it really didn't look too healthy, but that wouldn't be it.
So is this the same plan we saw last time
Yes.
you were here? So it's the same one?
So the difference just is, this plan has the contour lines on it.
Right.
The other one didn't.
Is, so as a result of the conversation earlier regarding trees and that road, I mean, does it make sense to shift the library north? Or is it something that makes sense to look at all?
Not from a topographical standpoint, because
Okay.
we're getting further into the hill. There's a ADA path that goes
Yeah,
around there.
I see
We're trying
that.
to maintain that.
Oh, and you're concerned
Yeah.
about
So if we
this
shift-
area?
If we shift to the left on the drawing, from my perspective.
Yep, okay, so
We,
north.
yeah, I can't tell which way is which.
Yeah, no, I know.
Just
Just trying to get it.
The parking lot, no, everything grades down. right?
Yep.
So you'd have to do something,
So you'd have to do more work
you'd have to do more work.
to, but you would potentially conserve some trees and, I don't know. Just maybe consider it from a roadway straightening, if you're finding you have to do a bunch of roadway straightening to access the library. And if the apparatus doesn't need to get all the way to the ball field and the current road is fine for an ambulance. I don't know, just a thought. I mean, I haven't been I'm recognizing I haven't been in this process anywhere close to the details as you all, but our purview is, minimizing impacts to the resources, which include the wetlands and the trees, and and so just a thought from a different angle.
The only thing I would say that we would look to try to have more than just the ambulance gain access to that.
To the full length.
To the field.
For the full, because it gets us around the three sides of that facility.
Got it.
It gets us across the back of the building.
Okay.
The other thing is you can't have the trees in the way in order to get the ladder up, right?
Well, I mean, we can go in between them, it depending on
What the
what's
circuit-
there and what the location is. Obviously, if there's a lot of them, yeah, it could be an issue, but if it allows us access in between, it should be fine. I mean, it's tough to see without stakes and everything like that, put in place.
Do you think you might potentially want a tree survey or some idea of what trees may or may not have to go? Ultimately?
Ultimately, probably, yeah. We generally do within the 100 at least.
Yeah.
Chief, can you talk to the ratio of the ladder height to the building?
As far as distance, you mean?
1 to 5, you said 1.5 times.
So that would be a collapse zone, and we're not, God forbid, we were not looking to establish a zone for firefighting. If that were the case, you need 1.5. The road would need to be 1.5 times the height of the building away, so that if the building were to collapse, the apparatus wouldn't be there. We're not necessarily looking for that to set up that type of a roadway, as much as we're looking to set up the access to the three sides if we need to do some type of work on the building. I mean, we're not going to set up if it's on fire, right, immediately next to it because of the collapse zone. And we understand that we'd be looking at filling in more small to achieve that.
Any more questions of anybody? Amy?
I did also mention to them the possibility, and it obviously depends on the economics of it, what the stormwater is going to do, and if there's potential for a rain, anything educational too, a rain garden,
That's true.
or for the landscaping, some sort of pollinator work with a garden club, something like that. So that's down the line as
Down
I
the
think
line.
Matt had mentioned that.
Good
last
restoration
week.
area.
Yeah.
Imagine there are other grants you can do for that.
So how far?
Which have time
Invasives maybe
constraint.
too.
But,
How far
yeah,
are
so,
Well, the invasive is the
into
big issue.
actual
Yeah.
design? Is this the actual design, or is this still a preliminary design?
We're at the end of schematic design, which is about 30%. We're starting into design development, so that'll take us from 30 to about 65% hopefully by town meeting in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, what I would want to hear, is just about how, how you've given thought to the resources within the constraints of public safety, and the other site constraints that you're working with. I'd be looking forward to, the library. I think it's a good project, and, would be, looking forward to working with you guys to, to get a permit in place.
Yeah.
But, the things that we like to hear about are the thought you've given to conserving as many resources as you can.
The other particular issue on this one that we had brought up last time was just that knotweed invasion that's downslope.
Yeah,
there.
knotweeds.
That's really hard.
Yeah,
Maybe the fire truck and
You don't want a
Yeah.
foundation on
Well,
the
he's
hill.
digging it all out, yeah.
As long as it's done in
Exactly.
construction
Really
anyway.
deep too.
Yeah.
But we have to mitigate it according to the requirements, the state requirements to come in and treat the area and properly dispose of the
Yeah, don't use it
material.
as fill. Stuff comes up through foundations,
Yeah.
concrete and asphalt.
No, you're gonna want a mitigation plan as part of
It would be
the
good.
notice of
It'd be
intent.
worthwhile,
Yeah.
at least for the knotweed. because of the potential damage to your building.
It's within the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah.
And there's work within the 50, so it all helps, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking to probably submit the permit after town meeting? The notice of intent with the commission, or haven't you really figured out your timeline yet?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the process, quite frankly. So maybe I can get with you at some point in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Just to understand what we need to do, to work with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine the fire access road's gonna be somewhat straightforward for you to design. I think stormwater is probably at this point, maybe your longest lead item. Because the commission's not gonna care what's happening inside.
It's typically would be done at design development as we go into the construction document phase of the project, so I would expect it.
Now, there will be, we will be tying into the existing sewer, which comes through the parking lot and then down this road.
Sewer or septic?
Sewer.
Septic.
Septic.
This all goes.
Well, it goes to the high school treatment
Goes down to
system.
the high school.
New
Yeah.
high school.
So,
Oh,
I think
septic.
there's a manhole here, there's a
It's a sewage
manhole
treatment
here, there's a
system.
couple of manholes
With
going
the
down
streets.
here. So we found the drawings for the original sewer installation and turned them over to Chris at DPW. And he's going to scan those and get that
Figure out where.
information to us.
Okay.
So the other potential problem with shifting the building is if you shift it, we're getting much closer to the 50-foot line too, right? So we have to deal with the slope and we'd be really
Yeah.
close on the disturb, so
Understood. Just,
that was one of the concerns.
yeah, and so I think what's really beneficial about having you guys in early for the discussion is just knowing what we want to hear about, so you can get through the process.
When we bought it, Matt and I walked the property a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
for as much as you think there's a lot of trees down there, it didn't really seem as many as you think.
Okay. So it's a nice open canopy, or a nice open understory.
Yes.
Well,
I haven't been there in a while and haven't looked at it from that standpoint,
Yeah.
but I'll have to go back.
And one thing
More
we'd
of the
be.
trees were down in the 50-foot line than between the
Oh,
parking lot.
Okay. Particularly within the 50, but so close to the wetland there, that if you're looking at alternatives for the road, we would be looking for pervious surfaces if possible. And the least environmentally damaging alternative in that area.
So, we about done with this? Does everybody get their questions answered?
So I'll plan to get together with Amy, find out what the process is, and then when our working group meets again, the 29th? Yeah. We'll start our process. We'll invite Matt if he wants to come. Be the 29th at 3 o'clock.
Great.
All right? Anyone?
Thanks.
Is that a weekday though?
It's a Monday.
Oh.
It's a very inconvenient time.
Yes.
Because I could also, if it help, I could come to that as well, or you'd rather just do this on the side, but.
It's probably better.
You may as well, we don't have an agenda set for that meeting yet, but it would probably be helpful to, if you're available, to,
Yeah.
understand, for everybody to understand the process and what we need to do.
Guess we'll move along. What's anybody's got any questions here on the board anymore?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening
Thanks for
to
coming
us.
in.
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay.
Discussion,
Welcome to go to.
Chestnut Lane update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is it okay to sit at the table?
Sure,
Please.
My name is Seth Donahoe. I'm with Ducharme Yellow Civil Design Group, and we're here tonight to talk about repairing the existing culvert on the common driveway off Chestnut Lane. So Chestnut Lane is a cul-de-sac right near the Harvard Town line off Harvard Road, and there's an existing common driveway that extends off the end of it, provides access to several lots. I believe many of the commission members are familiar with the site over the years, back and forth. I have a couple pictures, I'll let you pass around. So that is the existing culvert. You can notice that the top blocks are bowing and there's some cracking in the pavement. And I'll start this one on this end. The existing three-sided culvert, you can see that there's a little bit of undermining at the foundation of the footing there. So those are the two issues that we're hoping to address in this repair. I'll let you guys look at that for a second.
See the crack, where's the under? I missed it.
The undermining is on the other photo.
Oh, that's, okay.
It's not evident.
That's why I can't find it. Okay. So are you a new site engineer, or are you tasked with just
We're tasked with
this part?
this specific
Just that
portion
part?
of it.
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
And so there is an open order of conditions on it as well, so that's a great question. We were hoping to couple this with that existing order so that they could take care of this and then request one certificate of compliance at the end.
What is the date on the existing?
It's through 2020. Give you the exact date if you would like.
Yeah, I think we gave a short
Yeah.
extension last time because we needed to see some action. I think this was one of the things that,
So it's a year out, June 21st, 2020.
but there's stormwater stuff too.
So what's involved in this repair?
So the repair, I'll start on the top of the culvert. So there's an existing three-sided concrete culvert that's in good repair, functioning fully, and that's right on this box in the plan here, a relatively small portion of the project as a whole. On either side of it, where you saw the cracking in the photos, that would be in this area, and this area, and then the bowing of the blocks. We're proposing to cut back the pavement, and then there's going to be a poured-in-place 3-foot wide concrete anchor that's going to be on the side of the road. So the top pavement's going to be removed, the concrete anchor will be installed, and that's going to have rebar that comes out of it. And then that rebar is set up so that there can be holes put in the block, and there's details on all the plans. So both going out into the face of it and then into the side as well and into the back. Specialized epoxy will be put in there, and that'll allow everything to be cast in place. Right now it's essentially gravity that's holding everything, and there's some failure in that. So this is going to be a much stronger solution to the top portion of it. And then because the bottom of the culvert, the footings itself, the concrete was in fine shape, we're proposing to put some riprap in that area just to protect what's there and prevent that from being undermined further.
So on the picture, you want riprap like here?
It's actually going to be on the bottom.
Oh.
So that would be the undermined area right there. So that should be protected so that the footings,
okay.
the footings
I see.
themselves, we don't lose the earth that's underneath here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it from the top right here in plan view, and then you're looking at it just head on each side of it.
So you're gonna like shove some gravel under there, or is it just gonna go?
The
with
riprap's much bigger.
Right,
So it'd be ain't
Okay.
on the riprap.
but the stuff
I'm
under the
sorry.
footing, no, it's okay. So this is riprap
Yeah.
too?
That would be riprap. So the footing itself is
Okay.
fine. It's exposed, but it's fine. So the
it's the-
riprap itself is essentially armor,
Right.
what we can see right now, so that it doesn't get further undermined.
So what's keeping the riprap in place?
Just gravity itself.
So is it gonna need to extend out farther?
It would extend out just a little bit, but it wouldn't be significant. It would be within the footprint of the existing work area as well. So there's further details on the actual anchoring, as well as specifications for the anchoring on this plan. Again, it's essentially being doweled into the concrete beam that we're pouring, and then that'll be doweled into the existing side slopes, which are all in good shape as well. And you can see those in the photos. They're pretty substantial, the rocks that are there, and those side slopes were not found to be in disrepair as well. And my understanding is there's a question if a wetland replication area was ever completed as part of the project, so we've designated that in an existing low spot, and we've designated planting as well, so that in hopes that when they complete this, they can move forward with reaching a full certificate of compliance on the project.
Wait, so is that the original placement of it?
Yeah.
My understanding it is.
Okay.
Is it? That looks different.
I mean, I
I think it
remember
pretty much is. I
honestly.
think initially Jeff Hannaford had expressed some concern that there might be bedrock or something in there.
I believe there's,
So it's going to be a tough site, but there's really not a lot of better spots to do it.
And how is it connected to the rest of the wetland? Or
so the
okay.
existing delineation falls right around the edge here. So it's utilizing a natural low spot. There is a high area here. I
Yeah.
expect, as Amy mentioned, that's probably exposed ledge or
Like a seep or
ledge with 3 to 4 inches of duff and topsoil on it, not much else there, so.
So what is this line here? What are these lines?
That's a erosion barrier for the purpose of putting the-
Temporary.
Yeah, putting the replication area in
Oh, okay.
place.
So are you doing the replication?
We could certainly supervise it. Our office consists of wetland scientists and biologists that are capable of doing that and familiar with that. We've specified plantings that are typical facultative or better on the wet side in that area. That would be common. I mean, they're
Native?
yeah, red maple, sensitive fern, cinnamon fern, winterberry. They're not exotic plants. They're things from looking at the site that you would see in that area, and that would survive in probably a little bit less soil than.
Is this over next to where the driveway for the house, new houses got put in? Or is it
Yeah,
the
new-
others?
new
That big
houses are-
retaining wall?
You can see the cul-de-sac right, yeah.
Yeah, it's down that end.
And this is a 1-to-1, right? Because it's prior to the regs,
I can't even remember.
probably.
They call that 1,500 square feet. My knowledge of the project, it was permitted well before your bylaw was in
Right.
place.
So it's
Yeah, it was, and
1-to-1.
we've
Yeah.
given extensions.
And we call on the specifications for 75% survival at 2 years as well.
Okay.
So that
We
would
do-
be.
we do 3-year.
would be-
three-year
That would be
inspections.
fine if.
So the rebuild of that bridge, is that, like, it's in danger of failure? Is
Yeah, it has some signs of failure on the edges.
Is it like a passenger vehicle thing or a heavy truck thing?
It's just in good practice, it should be replaced. The more it's used, probably the worse it's gonna get. So this is something that should be done sooner than later, and it's a much more robust solution to what's there right now.
I can see that.
Okay, so let's see.
So
You're
have you been
asking
able to
for-
confirm the as-built of the little stormwater control features that are up and down that road?
So this.
There's a kind of big basin, but there's like these little,
Yeah, there's a bigger basin
Yeah.
in this area. We have not, this is the extent of our survey here.
okay.
We have not looked at, I don't know if this is meant to be some smaller area or anything like that.
So I imagine it's certainly for the certificate of compliance.
That would have to, yeah, they would need to do a full
Check all those.
as-built, yeah.
Well, and if you're trying to go under their NOI, your certificate of compliance would also be subject to the,
Either that or they would request a partial for the scope of this year.
based on
I'm
the
afraid you're
history
gonna
of
get
this
hung with all of it.
project,
I can certainly convey
you
that
might
to the
get
applicant. That's
stuck with, I have, I think you've put a lot of thought into this. I've, found your materials very helpful. I have some real concerns just based on the history of this project, that the things that they want to get done, they like pick and choose, and then the obligations aren't being met, and that's a real concern.
You're about the 5th engineer spinning.
I understand, I know it has a long history, so I guess we're looking at it twofold. I mean, there's the immediate necessity to take care of the culvert. I think ignoring that isn't gonna do anything good towards the wetlands or for the access to the site at all. So ideally, we could address that under the existing order. If you needed a separate notice of intent for that, then that's something that can be submitted as well. I don't think that gets a quicker resolution or gets anything closer to the finish line. So I'm happy to convey that you would like everything completed, and before you sign off on this, it would need to have everything
Yeah, I'm
else within the scope.
Not inclined to sign off on a partial certificate of compliance, and that's obviously nothing against you. It's the project in general, obligations are not being met, and I have, we can't continue to piecemeal, one priority and, and not get other things done.
So would this be done under a minor modification? Is that what you're looking for? Or
To repair.
but it's a slight change, though. It's not just preparing it exactly the way it was.
Yes,
Changing
it's
it.
to repair before it falls in.
No, I know, but
It's just a,
since he's coming in front of us, is that what, I mean, it says a discussion, but does it need any vote on it, or, or?
I think in a matter of vote, seems like we need a vote just to tell them to go ahead and do it and get it done.
Because what about the wetland replication? If it's
That's,
different than before, wouldn't that also need a
Yeah,
minor
we would need a
mod?
planting, do we have a planting plan for the wetland replication?
There's plantings on there?
Oh, do you have them on there?
Yeah, this is the application.
Okay.
So that's different than the original one,
I missed
correct?
that.
My understanding it's in a similar place. I do not know what the originally proposed plantings were.
We need to look at that, we
Then-
can't just approve something without.
So I mean, ideally, what we could look at is, we could bring more information, basically a red line
Yeah.
plan overlaying what was proposed for that area.
That would be good.
Yeah, we need to see
And
that.
then seek permission to move forward with the repair of the culvert immediately. And so that way, we could have the continued discussion on the replication portion of it, to whatever your desires are on that. But the issue with the culvert can be addressed this year.
We've been waiting long enough to get that straightened out.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, and
Well,
I,
I assume
vote then?
you'd want the mitigation done this year
yeah.
also.
I would think so. I mean, after knowing if it's sufficient.
Since it should have
or-
happened when it was originally in.
Yeah.
My understanding is
If it's
that's,
appropriate.
that's why this is on this plan. It's an attempt to get both things taken care of in one action.
We need to know who's doing it, though. You don't know who's doing the replication?
The actual construction, I do not, I believe it may be Field, maybe doing the work on the site, but I'd have to confirm that for you.
Colby.
Okay.
You didn't seem to like that?
So I think, all right. Yeah, I mean, I think we need to verify that, we're not looking at a different mitigation plan. I mean, the plantings seem reasonable. And I like that it's included in this plan. This project does not have a good track record.
So what is do you know the original square footage that was required for mitigation?
I know, they called out 1,500 square feet on this plan. And I'm assuming that was carried over from the original orders on it.
Okay, so if we could just confirm against the original order, if that square footage is sufficient mitigation area.
The files are exceedingly difficult to
I
read.
can imagine.
And they
About
kept
what the
changing.
impacts were, and they kept changing. So, I'm not sure you'll come up with a number, but,
Okay.
of the impact.
Hmm. Okay.
So to move forward, I'm understanding that you desire just a separate, a standalone replication plan that's going to compare what's approved under the current order, the valid order, compared to what we're doing here.
Right.
Mhm.
And then as far as the actual repair of the culvert, there's not additional information that you need on that at this time?
If it's truly in the same footprint, you've spelled out,
So it's
I
essentially.
feel like you've got,
It's on top of the
Detail.
existing.
You're using- right, you're using-
Existing
So that's-
three-sided culvert,
yeah,
right? You're really
Yeah.
preparing the roadway above it.
Exactly.
right, and adding riprap, and you're gonna stay within the existing footprint.
I'll make a motion to.
I'm sorry, are there erosion controls needed for the culvert repair stuff?
It's not, it's on top.
Make a motion to approve the repair, separate from the
To go
mitigation
ahead
right
with the
now?
repair.
To go ahead with the repair?
Under the
No, we don't
existing-
hear the mitigation's not coming back.
We wait for more information on the mitigation.
When's your next meeting?
July 22nd.
So I have no problem.
How about
Do you have control over that, though?
I can look at the records on the registry of deeds and just
Yeah.
tell you square footage wise what was recorded.
Mhm.
And then I can look at the existing plans if there's anything in the, I don't think it's in the subdivision plans, but perhaps I could, you're nodding your head now.
She's just choking.
And she's not sure.
I can
She's
get
That
that
too, but. Yeah, because once I start, I don't stop.
I was under the impression, for some reason, that, trying to get my bearings here,
Mm.
that there was more stuff over in here that
That's
needed to
what I
be
thought,
taken
too.
care of. Or needed to be cleaned up anyway.
Okay,
that would be stormwater.
I'm really not, our scope in this
Yeah.
was the culvert, but
Yep.
I'm happy to,
That's our challenge, though, is.
yeah. I'm-
Trying to add
I
that
would
to-
hope that your scope would be the entire 204-650 filing, which is the road.
That would be nice.
Which includes the stormwater mitigation and
Yeah.
the bridge. The
And
culvert.
I'll convey that to the applicant as well,
Yeah.
that that's what your expectation is to complete this.
It's the only way we can sign
Our
off on the
our
thing.
expectation is to not piecemeal the project and compliance. I wouldn't agree to a certificate of compliance on a partial, so, yeah, if you guys can get stuff done,
Okay,
that,
Now, has that got the top coat on it, or is
I
that?
agree, I thought there was something up there too, stormwater.
we call for replacing the binder and the top coat to match what's existing.
But is the top, last time I was there, I didn't think the top coat had ever been.
Is it just binder?
Yeah, it hadn't been completed.
So the town has a 2-year,
Well,
right?
it's a common
For
driveway.
That's private.
Oh, so it's not town, okay, never mind. Okay.
Okay. I guess you're waiting, we'll have to wait for you to come up with the research on the,
So, July
That's-
21st.
22nd.
22nd, I'll give you information on our end of comparing this to what was originally approved.
Okay.
And then I'll convey that message that you're looking for the completion of the stormwater management, and you believe that there's a separate area here that needed.
I think,
Yeah, there was-
there's stuff that was dug out, and I don't know, if I remember, there's like 1 or 2.
I just thought our list was longer, and I don't
pools
recall
over
right
that
now.
side.
Yeah, I mean, and as you go up the hill after you cross the culvert, there's a couple things on the left side. Funny little
There's a-
settling basins on those, but.
There's,
Okay.
there's swales that go up along
Yeah.
the side, and there's check dams every so many feet going up the hill. It's a pretty steep hill when you start going up and around there, and I think that's what they'd come up with, some crushed stone check dams or something to slow down the velocity.
Okay. So I'll let the applicant know that, and do you have any other questions for me tonight? Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank
So
you.
did you want to make a vote on the repair thing?
Yeah, did we
or-
make, I
Yeah,
made a
we're
motion
make a motion.
to move on the repair, is that
Okay.
appropriate? Do you want to do that?
Hear a second on that?
Second.
So is he coming back?
Only for the
He has to come back for the mitigation, yeah.
I,
Get it clear in your head
Just
before
be-
we-
I have faith that the gentleman in front of us is interested in coming back with a plan and the things that we've requested. I feel as though because these two things are on the same plan, I don't feel comfortable separating them. And I also am concerned that, you know, despite what you would like to do, I don't have any faith whatsoever, based on the entire history of this project, that anybody's coming back in for the mitigation or for the other things. So that's my concern.
But they wouldn't get a certificate of compliance if they didn't do
But
that.
actually, you
That's
gotta-
the hook.
somebody's gotta come up with
They
an
they don't
as-built
typically care
plan.
about their certificate.
That's, yeah, well, yeah, we're hearing certificates
they
of
will.
compliance like 10 years later. So I don't know, that's I can just vote no. That's fine, we can vote if you want.
At least we're getting the bridge taken care of before somebody gets hurt.
2 weeks.
That's the one thing.
Yeah, but this has been on their books for a year, at least.
Yeah, I
How long do you
2
think it'll
weeks
take
is
to do
gonna-
the work?
Probably, I would estimate 3 months, 4 months, somewhere in that range.
To do the bridge?
Well, by the time that
Repair?
they get approval and get every estimates in place.
I mean, once they start.
Oh,
Yeah, the actual work itself, the
2
construction.
weeks.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, you
So
scared
this-
me there, so that's a lot bigger
Yeah,
project.
that's a big bridge.
Has any of this been let out or spec'd out to anybody, or is this, you just fishing?
I have no visibility on that.
You just want a permit, and.
Colby Field is under the
No.
impression he will be doing the work, and he's chomping at the bit. I, again, no
I think it's
idea
good
that's
if
what's gonna
someone's
happen.
actually lined up and someone, I think that's good, but
That's what it sounds
I think
like.
we need more visibility on what's actually happening, other than we just keep giving and giving and giving and giving on the sort of conditions. You know, so I mean, if you guys, we can take a vote, but I'm not. I'd be willing to support it with more information and with, you know, things kinda,
Well, I don't think we want to keep stretching it out. If we got somebody to at least do the bridge.
Well, you can also hold the vote until the 22nd.
but we don't know that. 2 weeks, well, that's the thing, the 22nd
Which isn't gonna stop
is-
them from going out and,
Right, it's
and
2 weeks.
putting us out to bid or whatever they're gonna do with it.
Yep, it's 2 weeks. I mean, I'm supportive of the repair. I want more information from the applicant because of just the lack of motion on this project. And then, oh, whoops, the repair doesn't get done, and oh, wow, now we have to extend the NOI past 2020 because I didn't do this bridge repair that we said, and just, I have no faith based on the history of this project. I just don't. I don't think 2 weeks is gonna do anything.
Yeah, and like Amy said, that doesn't stop them from starting the process of putting it out
Yeah.
to bidder.
And I think in
presenting
general, we're
specs and-
supportive of but I think the applicant needs to provide more information and, you know, provide visibility to the engineer and the rest of us that something's actually gonna happen.
My concern is that as more things come forward, it sounds like there's a lot of other issues that the commission wants addressed that I'm really not aware of. And that's gonna continue to happen, and that's gonna delay completing.
We
what's
will
before.
work with you in good faith to get this bridge repair approved.
Okay, so I'll just reiterate what we've discussed, so that we're gonna confirm the square foot of mitigation and the location of it. That'll be prior to July 22nd. And then you want it sounded like there was some issue, some check dams upslope of
Well,
this.
I don't know whether, how close you are, whoever's got to come up with a as-built plan for this whole thing.
I mean, if you want to focus just on the repair and the mitigation
Right,
for
the
this.
things
Yeah, I mean,
But this
they're
submits
not,
there before
they're not
us.
at that point where they're looking to do an as-built.
They can't even, he can't even finish getting the certificate of compliance for the house that's there. which
But
is
if, but
built.
if there's an issue with
Well,
the
that's-
stormwater, you should know about it now,
Yeah.
not 2 years from now.
My concern is the order of conditions is going to expire. And there's gonna be, I don't want this bridge repair to then force us to extend some, maybe this bridge repair is just a separate emergency NOI or a separate filing, and we call it a repair in the same footprint, call it completely separate, and make a -3 determination because it's a repair of an existing structure within the same footprint. And just take it out of the entire, I'm concerned that this bridge repair is just not, somehow just not gonna happen. And then we're gonna be a year from now, we're gonna be forced to extend the order of conditions.
Well, I mean, that might happen anyway.
It may.
But at least we'll make progress on these
But
two aspects,
piecemealing
especially
it
the
and
mitigation.
adding just to kick the can down the road is the thing that I'm,
Well, stalling too long doesn't, we don't want to be caught as the ones that caused the problem.
Yeah. All right, I withdraw my motion for now and to approve the repair separately from the mitigation. And we'll wait till the next one.
Well, you need to give him a definite direction of what you want him to do.
I think we have. He's
Well, do you
gonna-
want to review the stormwater,
That's
what's been built in there or not? Because right now, you've got confirm the square foot of the mitigation and the original impact.
right.
Right, because that's what's on this plan,
And
and,
at a red line, yeah.
yeah.
And if the applicant, yeah, I'm not talking about you, but if gas has to give you the instructions and the okay to move forward to do the whole overall lay or footprint as to what needs to be finished up and cleaned up for us to give a certificate of compliance for the whole project.
Yeah, I mean, I think an update from
Yeah.
the applicant, not you, but really, like, an update from the applicant. I don't think I've ever met him.
No,
He's
and-
been
and
in once or
you-
twice.
You won't.
An
Um,
update from the applicant on
he
the
can't get-
schedule.
He can't get down here. But maybe a schedule
A schedule of
that
when.
Ducharme can pick up and,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll convey your
Yeah.
desires to him.
Right, your
We were
control
asked to
is-
look at a certain thing at this
Right,
point.
and he's paying you, and he has his budget. and
Yeah,
he can pay you, and.
I understand he had some personal issues too. It's not an excuses, but I think there was good reason that he wasn't able to do some of this in the time frame you wanted. So I'm happy to pass that message along to him. If he wants to use us to see some of those other things, I'm happy to come back and report that to you. But my understanding now is that we're going to look at the replication area per our discussion tonight, and hopefully find a way to move forward with this repair at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
That it for tonight then?
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Enforcement order 17 Moore Lane.
they are done with everything, so we are waiting for things to grow. So they did,
They moved quick.
they moved quickly.
Excellent.
All right.
They seem on
Okay.
top of it.
And I think, we'll see how it goes, whether, they may now actually come back in again or not, but we'll see how things look. If they
Okay.
drag them back in.
Public hearing, notice of intent, 881 Manawatucket Trail, U47-31, Mass DEP file number 204-XX.
That's more.
Does it have a number yet? It doesn't have a number.
Does not have a
No
number.
DEP number.
So where are you, Amy? Did I give you that?
Yep, thank you.
Do you have documentation that you've created, or?
I reviewed it.
Oh, okay, so, it's basically, I'm trying to restore the lake front of my property. It's all leaning towards the lake, both the existing wall and a part of the embankment, so I'm trying to basically save that before it goes in. So, the plan was, and it gets rather interesting when I try to mow the lawn in that incline, because sometimes everyone's gone into the lake, but anyway, we wanted to kind of cut it back, it's squared up, so it's like flat, less pressure. And then there's a section down by the water that's kind of falling apart, basically, so it's pretty.
Yeah, the photos were
Yeah, I
pretty.
tried to show the problem.
telling.
Yeah.
And was that, it looked like square stone blocks?
It looked
Didn't
like
quite
someone,
look
yeah, the
concrete? What is the
cemented
material?
blocks. Yeah, they look
Okay.
like paving blocks that were cemented together. So
Okay.
ideally, I want to do this when they drop the the water level down, where I can actually walk around there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the walls are.
And so it's just,
Actually, some time ago, when they used to do the drawdown, we did get permission to clean up anybody that wanted to restabilize their walls. The board did do that.
yeah, the waves just kind of eat away over time,
Yeah.
and it just starts leaning.
Yeah, your wall's gonna go in, and then all of the material behind it
Yeah.
is also going to go in. It clearly needs repair.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping, it's kind of cool. I was a civil engineer 25 years ago. I finally get to use my stamp after paying $400 every 3 years for.
Oh, for your registration?
Yeah, 'cause it's just one of those things that I don't want to give up anymore.
Yeah?
So it's too much hard work. But that's, it's as simple as that. We just put new lawn in, and you'll still get the runoff control and all that kind of stuff.
And this is.
Especially
This
since
is
you're not gonna be
the
able
part.
to close tonight, you might wanna do a site walk.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
take
think
a
we
look at it.
definitely need to do
Um,
Yeah, that's fine.
The lower wall, the
But-
lower, whatever you call it,
Right.
clearly needs repair.
Yeah.
The upper lawn, which is within the 50-foot no disturb, may be kind of a little bit of a different story, especially
Right.
given what's,
I mean, it's all within.
the 93 Mattawamkeag folks went through a lot
Yeah.
of work to get that deck in.
Yeah, so that was the thing that wouldn't be an in-kind replacement is the proposed deck. on
Yeah, I
the
mean, that
lower
was
level.
just to appease someone else in the household. But
Yeah.
that could, we were thinking maybe if that's not cool, we could put like a temporary one in the summertime maybe and just pull it up in wintertime or, or fix it up somehow so it's safe to walk around there. Because think of the lower area as a big bag of crushed stone and these huge slabs of concrete around it. And time is taking.
Oh, is crushed stone under it?
Yeah, it's like a big bag of crushed stone. I don't know, it was way before me.
Okay.
It looks kind of like somebody's handiwork at some point in time. It was a home,
Yeah, it looks like
home
scab.
deal done.
Yeah, I don't know how they got that concrete in. It was huge pieces.
Boat, maybe?
Yeah.
Poured it, but before you did the rest of the walls, you could get down there. Maybe.
Well, the house looked relatively new or updated at least, so perhaps
I've been
this was
busy.
constructed before.
Yeah, it's one of those homes where it was half the size at one time, and
Yep.
they made it into from a summer home to.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
then that wall
So that
layer
could-
looks like something that would have been done probably before the house was expanded.
Oh yeah, it looks. Things a huge
But
piece.
you're gonna have to take all that out, have it excavated and take it out,
Well, I was going to leave the bigger piece. I mean,
this piece?
yeah, I'm looking at life like now I'm 55. How long I'm going to be on the planet to worry about it? You know what I
You
mean?
got another 25 years.
Yeah, so I think that concrete will last. I'm thinking this other stuff's got to go, and I got to put a similar pour or something that will just.
Can you get access to it to do it?
Well, I'd probably, you could jackhammer that stuff out, and you could put a form in and just have them pump it in the concrete.
How far would the?
It's about 100 and something feet.
Okay.
I think they can put a hose. They have
Yeah,
a hose.
compressor.
Yeah, they can.
Pretty significant.
Yeah.
And where's the plan for the deck?
Well, that was just an image I put on here, just as a partial deck, just so as you walk down the stairs, you're not walking right on the stone. You'd have a nice little.
And it's lawn currently, or just
It's that
gravel?
crushed
That
stone,
gravel crushed
yeah.
stone currently.
Yeah, the
Okay.
lawn repair is this spot. And they're gonna have to rebuild these stairs. They're all kind of. When you do the site visit, your body will just tend to start leaning towards the lake, like all the trees, like everything else. It's like either I fix it now or I'm like,
I would say you had quite a bit of work ahead of you.
Yeah, should I?
So where are we at?
I think we need a site walk. So we recently permitted another project that proposed to take part of the grassy space right at the lake and make part of it a deck. And so taking out grass or, if this is prone to erosion, so they had grass. So taking out materials that, can seep chemicals into the lake or erode into the lake is, that's a good thing, but adding a deck is also a different use. And so
Okay.
it wouldn't be considered a
yeah. I mean, if that's the last
replacement
thing
in kind.
I
But we also don't really like to see, a carpet of grass because you just get all the clippings and, this lake has some impairments under the Clean Water Act for, nutrients, so
Right.
eutrophication and low dissolved oxygen and that type of thing. So we would prefer to not have grass right up against the lake. Another project that recently they did a garden, like a native plantings, just a garden.
Like a rain garden?
Yeah.
Okay.
then I would,
Is this in not the lower level or the place?
the lower level.
The lower level, I'm open to any ideas, to be honest, because I just want people to walk, well, right now I'm worried about kids getting hurt, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of concrete they fall on, and,
Yeah,
it's
that
falling.
looks kinda
It's
dangerous.
It's like a construction site right now, so it's like,
Yeah.
whatever we can do to, make it safe, I think, is part of this too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you guys come over and take a look, you see what I'm talking about. It's pretty,
Yeah.
just you won't see all of that now because there's water there, at that level.
This picture was taken when the drawdown was going on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That gave me hope,
trying to
like, oh, I could
show.
actually fix this if they do that again, And
What have you heard?
They're planning on it. I guess they got so much rain last year, they couldn't do it, because we're trying
They
to.
started and like the next day it rained.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So they're they're going for it again, and they got it, because there's a lot of plants. It does help.
Yeah, they were treating the plants this weekend, I think, or Friday.
I hired the guy to do the raking. I don't know if they have these guys that come
Yeah.
and rake and stuff.
There's a hydro week.
Yeah, he hasn't showed up yet.
Charlie Bush.
I gave him my check. Is he gonna come or what?
They're in high demand and very
Oh,
busy.
okay.
I've heard that. I don't know about this guy specifically, but in general,
Okay.
very high demand.
So, I guess when will people be able to go and do a site visit?
You might want to try do it all at once when the owner's there, because it's a little complicated, because there's so many
Yeah, I work
different
at
elements
home
to the
on
whole thing.
Fridays as a standard. So if you want to pick a Friday, I can just slot the time to walk around with you guys. Or even the weekends. I don't want to read it's late enough already, but
This
whatever
Friday's
works
supposed
for
to
you
be
guys.
good weather, I think.
Is it gonna rain on Friday?
I'm leaving Friday morning, so I'm out.
Oh,
I'm gone like to the 23rd, so
Oh.
I may have to go on my own.
can you make it Friday?
Oh, yeah. You wanna do like a,
How about Kyle?
yeah, I can make that work.
Okay.
Excuse to work from home for myself.
Like, what,
Did you-
4:30, 5 o'clock?
5:30?
5:30?
Somebody say 5:30? No.
Yeah,
that works.
Friday, 5:30?
5:30 sounds
You
good.
finished bidding? All right.
Okay?
Okay.
So in general, for you to keep in mind, this is clearly a repair project, but for anything you want to change that's not replacing what's there, that falls under more of our waiver requirement.
Okay.
And so there'd be some sort of benefit to the environment is something that one of your
Listen, if you
neighbors
guys can
would
come up
use
with
to-
ideas that makes it easy to walk on and friendly for kids and all that, then, and it's not a deck, it's fine with me. I mean, I don't know what to do right now. It's
Okay.
kind of a mess.
All
All right, thank you.
We'll see you Friday.
All right, cool.
Do you want these, Amy?
Sure.
Okay. As we go back up above. Open space kiosks and signs, I went back up to the discussion items.
Yep.
Is she here for something?
Yeah, Colonial Drive.
Oh,
Oh.
No, so she's going to be after the,
Oh, okay. Okay, just checking. Do we want to maybe do that first?
yeah, well, Jim's been sitting here too, so.
Oh, yeah.
He might be.
I thought Jim was just here to hang out.
I'm just hanging out, I just wanted to hear about the Brown property.
Okay. Sorry, Jim. I was just
Okay,
trying
well,
to
then
figure
maybe
out
we
what our
can get
audience
86
was.
Colonial out of the way, and then we can deal with all
Okay.
sorts of stuff that might be of interest to Jim.
Tony.
So, good news. The wetland restoration areas have been restored.
Can you tell us who you are?
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's
Maureen
okay.
Harold, Norse Environmental Services, here on behalf of Liz Hohenschel. So I met Amy out on the site on June 24th with the landscaper as well. We reviewed the 3 areas that were required to be restored. On June 28th, they excavated the areas out. Amy was lucky enough to be in Italy, but I verified those excavated areas to be sure that they were in the groundwater. Gave the landscaper the go-ahead to plant the materials. He ended up planting on June 29th, and the seed mix was added on July 1st. And fortunately, we actually provide more wetland than what was required. So there was 1280 square feet of wetland that was filled. The original proposal was a 1-to-1 restoration. We're slightly higher than that. We have 1641 square feet of wetland restoration. The surveyor went out and has provided an as-built plan of those areas, verified that yes, in fact, we do meet the minimum requirement and we are over that. I also have photographs for the commission, and I listed the number of plants in each of the wetland restoration areas. And they look pretty good. I went out there this morning. We had heavy rain events, what was it, Saturday afternoon? The site looked good. There was no erosion. They're watering the plants during this heat that we're having, which is great. And lastly, Amy had asked, what I was told from Amy, there was a temporary occupancy permit issued on this lot, or from Liz. Was that correct, that the occupancy permit was temporary?
I'm still not entirely clear from the building department.
Okay.
I don't think it was they have an occupancy permit, it's not a final occupancy permit.
I think it was given occupancy, but the enforcement order was
Yeah.
on the deed, so it's
Right.
got full occupancy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That was my understanding too.
Yeah,
It's
so,
like we
so basically
agreed-
Shelley told me this afternoon that if I just let her know if it's okay with commission, that the commission
Pull it off the deed.
is okay with the occupancy permit standing while this grows for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
Then that's,
yeah, that's,
Okay, great.
yeah, we're not looking to hold up occupancy while plants grow.
Okay,
Um,
wonderful.
But, enforcement would be a
Exactly.
tool if, responses and,
Absolutely.
per usual.
Right, and as part of the restoration plan, we're gonna monitor this for 3 years. So we'll go back out in the fall and we'll take a look at the areas and the plants and see how it's coming up. But all of the 3 areas connect to the main wetland that goes around the dwelling.
Looks like you pulled, a lot of material was pulled out. Did you say how much was pulled out?
No, a couple of feet anyhow.
Yeah, it looked like quite a bit from the pictures, the one with the retaining wall and the wetland.
Right.
Wetland restoration one. There's a lot more daylight on that retaining wall than there used to be.
Absolutely. The configurations changed a little bit because in the large wetland to the right of the retaining wall, there was a
Yeah.
gas line.
Oh, yeah.
This wetland to the left of the driveway, there was a property line issue, so we wanted to be sure we were on our property. And this one here, just the configuration changed a little bit as they were digging it out.
And you were there, you're a professional wetland scientist, and you were there.
I think it looks.
The photos looked good.
Yeah, I think it looks great so far. So now it's just a matter of let's see how the plants do, and they're watering them. So I think they'll be all right.
Now, the fact that there's a stone wall on either side, is that going to be too much of a high point to really connect it with
Well,
beyond it?
interestingly enough, we took a look at that prior to any work, and what we discussed was to have an opening between the stone wall and the BBW, so to provide that connection.
So you had to you break the wall in a couple places?
Yeah, actually, in some of the pictures, I think it shows it.
Yeah.
So in this picture here, you can see the break.
Yeah.
This one here, and this one here, you can see it on number 3.
Oh, right here. Yes, it sure is.
And
Yeah,
on
okay.
number 1, you can see the break up here to the cattails.
Okay. Any reason why there's no address on the map, on the plan?
Is there not an address?
No.
Oh, just the number.
Oh, it's the numbers
That's the road.
located on the house.
Oh, yeah, number
okay.
86. Yep. There it is.
No. I didn't even pick that up to be honest.
I think Colonial, that's the road name.
Right, but in the title block, it just says on Colonial Drive.
Right. Whereas it has the record owners being 92
At
Colonial
this
Drive,
point.
which is a little confusing.
I can picture that happening. I've never seen that before. XX Colonial Drive.
So I guess that unless the commission has any other questions or concerns, I can provide a report in the fall.
What about the stream bank? I think some of the channelization of the stream bank was gonna get pulled off.
We did.
That was pretty much just where it was broken.
So it was just
Through.
broken through parts?
Yeah, I haven't,
I just wanted clarification on that.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't really seen it. I saw it Monday. I drove by and didn't even get out of the car to see what had happened while I was
Okay.
away, so.
It might be, I
I have
think it
yet
might
to
be
get out
worth, getting eyes on that and
Yeah.
making sure that maybe what we had envisioned is disregarding like turtles being able to cross if they need to and like that type of thing. Like wildlife, do you have thoughts?
Do I have, I'm sorry?
Thoughts.
Well, we were taking a look at that, so of course the wall runs around the entire perimeter, so it was kind of how to break through the wall to connect it without causing too much disturbance to the stream channel and the wetland that was there. So we just kind of opted for one break per area. I mean, we can certainly do another one if the commission feels that it's necessary.
Yeah, I think we should just look at that just to make sure.
It's certainly connected. The two areas in the back are fairly small.
Yeah.
So one's 207 square feet and the one behind the driveway is 489 square feet. I think one connection is certainly sufficient for that. But again, take a look. If you think differently, we can do another one. The larger one is to the front.
Can you mark, is it on the map where the breaks are, or can you draw it?
So there's like a break right here, and this break is right here, and this break is approximately right there.
Okay. So every
If you want me to go out and look at
80
it.
to 100, yeah. It looks like every 80 to 100 feet. And I'm just talking specifically about the channelization portion of the stream, not a wall that was already there. But we understand from, what we've talked about earlier, that the stream was channelized with the rocks.
Right.
So I'm thinking every 80 to 100 feet, one break.
Take a look at
Would
it.
be
If you
Yeah.
feel another break is necessary, that's not a problem. We can
Okay.
do that. Our initial thought was, let's make it connected, but trying to minimize the amount of disturbance to the wetland and the stream that was there.
Yeah. No,
But
understood.
if another break's necessary, let us know. The landscaper will go out and do that, so.
Let me know if you want to go out with me sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I don't hear from you, you're happy, and if I do hear from you, we'll do another break, and then I'll provide the commission with a report in the fall.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, sounds like a
Okay.
plan.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you sign in?
No, I didn't.
You're on your way out. Thanks.
Okay, let's go back up to open space kiosks and signs.
So I know we've been having some preliminary discussions about the swing signs and getting those set up, like there's one at Newtown Hill. That's a terrible picture. It's those signs. Especially for properties where it's not obvious where it is, and Newtown Hill is
Yeah, that would be great.
one of those. So, based on that design, and I think the only comment we've had is making the font a little bit bigger so you can see it as you're driving by at 50 miles an hour in some of them. Because, of course, I didn't print those
I
out.
think the only thing on this one here, which is Newtown Hill, would start probably on the bottom, it should have community garden.
Right, so
A small,
I got the quotes from last year revised, and depending on how many you want, obviously, it can be basically a little over $900 to get 8 or $490 to get 4. Double-sided, they will have 2 holes at the bottom for S-hooks with chains that they'll provide. That does not include the price for whatever it is we want to add at the bottom. We'd probably come up with those later, maybe.
Okay.
So, where would they all go?
Well, that's the next question. We were looking at Oak Hill at Reed Meadow, which is the new little 6 paved parking lots areas right next to, very fine. Oak Hill near Sawyer Road, potentially. That one's a little hard to see sometimes. Hartwell.
Definitely Hartwell.
Yeah,
Yes.
Everyone pulls into Phil's place. Sarah Doublet, which is LCT property, so I don't know if you want to, if you're able to pay for that or not. Long Lake at Tahadawan.
That's pretty well marked.
That's pretty well marked.
Yeah.
You mean Harwood?
Long Lake at Tahad, yes, Harwood.
Where at Tadawon?
Oh, no, it's
Yeah, Harwood.
Harwood.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
was
corner
on-
of Harwood and Newtown.
Oh.
I was on the wrong road.
Oh, okay.
Potentially Long Lake at Queen. I haven't looked at that site.
Oh,
That's-
there? At Queen?
I think you
But there's
mentioned
no,
that one.
there's no path there right now.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's a-
There- on
entrances
Queen?
To Long Lake Park,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty well marked too, though, because Jim put up that nice signboard. You can't miss it when you're going.
And it's
But
got for
Queen
the
is a
winter stuff.
paper
yeah.
road, isn't it?
Hmm?
Isn't Queen a paper
Oh,
road?
it's paved.
No. Yeah.
It's paved.
It's paper in certain portions, but the section that is paved, it's like a loop. If you go down Roxbury and Middlesex,
Right,
it's that
right.
loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's paved and it's very well.
Oh, okay.
That's one's got the winter trail. Is that the one with the winter trail, right? Because they snowplow and
Yeah.
you made the winter trail?
Mary Shepherd open space would probably be.
Mary Shepherd I had on here, yeah. Now the DOT's
Because
out
the
of there.
parking lot was supposed to be built. I don't know if it ever got finished.
It did.
No, yeah, DOT did a pretty nice, last time I looked at it, they did a pretty nice job when they pulled their stuff out. It's a better parking lot than it used to be. Newtown Hill at Boxborough Road, the Williams.
It's another good one. Once we put the lot in, we can put it right there and.
Yeah, either put it at the parking lot or put it at wherever the trailhead is or whatever.
Is that it? Do we own the trailhead, or is that an easement?
That's an easement from Joyce Williams, 12-foot right away, I believe, along the stone wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe have it at the parking lot, which is actually on the 5-acre, the DOT surplus
I mean,
parcel.
it makes more sense to have it at the trailhead so people know where to go in. But I think you'd have to get permission from Joyce to erect it there. I don't say it wouldn't be a good idea. But I
Well,
think-
yeah, I was wondering, some of these we might get made now because, cheaper by the dozen and don't put it up yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We could always put like a little kiosk too at the DOT land saying like you're here and across the
Yeah,
street is
exactly.
the trail
Yeah.
entrance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have Cloverdale on that list?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I-
Cloverdale.
I didn't have Cloverdale because I wasn't sure if Cloverdale was going to be wildly obvious once we get a parking lot in.
everybody knows Cloverdale.
I don't know if it would be wildly
Visitors
obvious once a
wouldn't.
parking lot is there, though, because it's.
And the parking lot will have a kiosk, though.
It's good publicity.
Yeah.
Because that was the other piece. Well, that's also why I was thinking Yap.
Yeah.
Because everyone kind of knows where Yap is, but it is also kind of good publicity. Publicity.
Duplicity.
Duplicity, yeah.
It'd be nice if people start to see it and associate, oh, wow, Littleton's doing a lot, I think people just need
Yeah,
to see
no,
it.
visibility.
But-
Yeah.
When I stop and think about the Gap property, if you had one there, you've also got the community garden there.
Right, so that could be that could be one of the hanging
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Now, are they spruce, or are they gonna go directly in the ground? Like bare?
No, there's, you mean the wood?
Yeah.
I didn't.
What are we getting,
Well,
just the
that's
sign or the wood
Oh, pressure treated?
inside?
But
What are we getting? Are we getting just the sign, or are we getting the wood inside?
Well, we'll be getting the sign from Blue Bumble, and then Chris Mountain, still actually owes me what he thought it would take to make these. I was assuming like $100 at most for the wood piece of it, maybe. And then separately, he did also come up with a current price for a kiosk for at least Cloverdale, if not Williams, or wherever we else think you might. And the kiosks are about $700. If he builds them, unless a scout comes along.
Now, is that installed?
That is not installed, but I'm sure, because I'm sure they have to be assembled on site. They're not going. He's not
Well, it
going.
would depend if you have a scout do it, then
Yeah.
they would install it, or you could, we could have stewards install it.
We can take
Yeah.
care of that.
And I also think highways would be willing to install, as long as we don't say we need it next week. I'd say,
Okay.
Chris, by the end of the
I'm
summer.
sure we can get some scouts too to help the scouts.
Yeah, or as you said, Stewart, or, well, especially for Cloverdale, while
Well,
highway
Scouts.
is there, they can do everything. They can put in
Right.
the split rail fence, they can
Yeah.
do the
While they're
whole.
digging the holes for that, they can
That's
dig the
true.
holes for the.
Yeah, absolutely, do the whole 9 yards, yeah.
So do we need to have an affirmative price on,
So-
add it up?
It depends on how many you want to do. And she gave me 2 thicknesses, a 1/3 inch and a 1/4 inch, which I think are both heavier than the sample they made. For 8 signs at the 1/3 inch, which is the cheaper size, it's $920, and you get 8 signs.
Is that just for the metal part though, without the wood?
That's just the metal part. And then,
And the stuff on the sign,
yes,
which
printed.
makes sense.
Wait, a 1/3 of an inch is cheaper than a 1/4 of an inch?
I didn't get it either, and it was today, so I wasn't
Thicker?
asking any stupid questions.
Maybe it's like veneer, it's hard
I
to
think
slice.
signs are
Oh.
worth it. I think getting, all of them, I think would be money well spent. Visibility for conservation land helps connect people to conservation land and helps people find it.
Absolutely.
That type of thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice to start getting uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that personally
How
that'd be a
thick-
good investment.
So the signs are metal?
Yes.
They're aluminum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
How,
The
corrosion
Town
resist-
Hill, I believe, is 1/8 inch.
1/8 or 3/16?
Maybe 3/16. It's pretty flimsy, I think, so that's why they wanted to upgrade to 1/4.
That's good.
That's a good idea.
Oh, you said a 1/3.
They're painted, right?
Well,
Third,
she gave 2 estimates, one for 1/4 inch and one for a 1/3. And I didn't understand why the 1/3 was cheaper than the 1/4.
Oh,
The
that's
1/3
weird.
would be
thicker.
3/16.
Let's go with the
probably
1/3.
3/16.
Yeah, you just asked that question, right?
Unless you made a mistake.
I'm sure that's a typo.
The 1/3 is,
Well, she did it 4 times, so she made the same typo each time.
Okay, well,
Great.
some negotiating.
So
Honor this price.
I will double check that, and I think
Okay.
we also need to double check which ones we want.
So
And whether or not, well, you guys would use a different, slightly different format for Saratoga, wouldn't you, or different colors, or do you think they'd all just be the same?
It
And just have a
would
different,
be just that we would have our logo.
Your
on
name
it
instead of the
Instead
conservation.
of the town seal,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the town can pay for that or not.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think the town can.
Yeah.
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 you might be able to get piggyback on the order,
Yeah.
but you'd have to pay separately. Not, it's just the way it is.
Well, I can see if she can invoice
Yeah, so
us 7, them 1.
Fiscal law.
I was thinking Mill Hill could also use one, so maybe.
Yeah.
A separate order for LCT.
Well, I don't think they can do just one, I think because they
Yeah.
have a sheet that they're cutting.
Right. Yeah, doing one is probably quite a bit more expensive than the per unit doing multiple.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
you're
the
doing
1/3 of
a
an inch is a different
screening
supplier,
process.
so maybe that's why
That's
different
what
pricing.
it's set up for that.
Yeah.
Neshoba Wetlands could use one. There's a lot of trust.
These glasses are coming off.
Well,
Like what?
I can see where you might want
Side-eye.
to put another one and be up on Oak Hill, at the Oak Hill parking lot.
At the original Oak Hill
Yeah.
parking lot, so somebody can run into it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Where are we gonna put it? That parking lot's getting bigger every year.
Hang on to the
Yeah.
kiosk, the edge of the kiosk.
So, do you want to order 8?
I can order 8, but I'm not sure which 8.
Just think we want to put a name on it, right? We
Oh, yeah.
order them until you know which 8 you want. Is that?
Yes, yeah, we'll need to double check all that, I think.
So if you do 8,
Not
it
Scott.
leaves one
Does
out.
Scott, who had the,
That gives you a spare one
Yeah.
when somebody shoots it full of holes.
Right, yeah. Or baseball practice, can we just keep it far enough off the road that?
so do you think Long Lake at Queen could use one, or is it really not a place?
I think so, because most people don't know you can access
Oh, no,
it.
people know, people that go down there.
I didn't know that. I'm in
Yeah,
Long
I
Lake
think I would
Association.
get
out more,
this
Anna.
one.
We were looking at that as part of the Long Lake
Sooner
route,
or later,
but we thought that it
somebody's
wasn't
gonna damage something.
accessible.
Except they're gonna be printed with the name of the place, so.
Oh.
Yeah, but we said, oh, we can't because there's private, private access there. Because we thought there was a paper road, but it wasn't,
Well, we can't go through Queen Road. You have to go down Middlesex Drive. The parking lot is right at the end of Middlesex Drive. It's like a two.
oh, that's what I thought you meant. I thought you meant accessing it through Queens Road.
No.
Oh,
Not
okay.
unless we.
All right,
think you're
then I'm not wrong.
Huh?
I like your E's and A's.
Well, I get really psychotic about it because I do them differently as I go on. You might see them.
Oh.
I probably said
Okay.
something really bad about me, but
very-
what is that? That's not Harvard Road. It's Sanderson, right? The main.
Yeah.
Oak Hill Road, right?
Oak Hill Road,
Is it
yeah.
Oak Hill
Is
Road?
it- It's off of Sanderson.
It's off essentially.
So, and then Hartwell. And
You said Sarah Doublet?
Long Lake at Harwood.
Oh, no, we don't need that one.
Well,
Harwood
let me
Ave.
just write all these down, and then Long Lake, I'll call it a Queen. And Mary Shepherd, I'll just say Williams for Lake Joyce. Mill Hill. Yeah. Which 8 would you like? That's 3, 4, 5.
What about Sarah Doublet? You had that?
Thanks, we couldn't pay for that one.
Oh, that's the LCT
Cloverdale.
property, sorry.
Oh, yeah, Cloverdale.
Cloverdale.
Yep,
That would be the one out near the road.
Yeah.
yeah. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, there's
Bumblebee
two.
doesn't,
Oh, Bumblebee's
because the thing's
so.
right there,
yeah,
and the town
that's
forest doesn't need one yet.
Yes.
That could be the
Just
next
needs to be
round.
painted.
I texted Don Wade about that. He's gonna
Don't
look.
paint it green, please.
Brown, we'll do brown. I don't think we need the Harwood Ave, Long Lake Park one, so we could probably.
That's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
What did I say, there's 9 up there?
So that's
Yeah,
1,
10
2,
now,
3,
right?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we still at 10?
It's 10.
This one might be hard to, well, there's the Oak Hill up at the AT&T, the new area. Boy, I'm
Oh.
losing my mind. There's no trail there yet.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a parking lot going with that subdivision up where,
Edwards,
no.
well, Edwards Drive is on the other side, Bennett
It's
Orchards.
gonna come in tonight, let's discuss this. The selectmen, there was supposed to have been a parking lot up further, I thought at one point.
There is, it's on the AT&T easement. There's no trails there yet.
Okay.
So there's really, you wouldn't want to sign up. But I don't, we can always make another order too.
We need a big map. We need a map of Littleton with all the conservation areas.
We have
on
that.
it. Here, we need one in here.
In here.
Put it on the
We've
wall.
had
On the
one.
wall.
We've had one, but it got taken down.
Oh, why? Anyway, we
You
need
should
one.
Strike Mary Shepherd. It's a very little used area compared to the others.
I think if it had more signage, though, people would start going, because I know nobody goes there now, but I don't think anybody knows that there's land out there. They think it's like an old DOT storage area, just because that
Don't.
Yeah, but
equipment's...
it's gonna be all the Westford people that are going to it.
But we like Western people.
So why can't we do 10?
It's a sheet,
9 in a sheet.
or 8,
8?
8 or 4.
Oh.
Okay.
Can we get it up to 16?
Or to 12?
We can get
Maybe we get up
if
to
you guys
12
wanna-
if you guys add
Do you
to
guys
it.
want to add them in?
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly,
So we got 1,
Check
2,
that out.
3,
I mean,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
we should pay for our own, I'm sure, but.
So,
we
if you
can
wanna
do a
get- if you got
joint-
4.
Joint order,
Then we, wait,
No,
2.
two.
2.
Take advantage of the lower pricing.
So see if you guys want to order 2
yeah.
while we're at it.
Let's see
So
where
that
that
would be
gets
two
us.
6
and
sheets?
Go from there. If it's gonna be too much, then.
You said 4 or 8.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
4 rates, so that's 12.
Okay.
Or you do 16, or you can.
All right.
Is 12 enough for the order though, or is that?
So you're talking
Or we could do
quarterly?
just 4.
We could just.
Oh, okay.
She has a price.
The
of
more
4
you get,
already.
it's
The more you get,
It's a little bit
more
cheaper, but it's.
Or-
The more you order, they'll give you a deal.
That works.
Yeah.
I mean, we might want to put one on the Sprong land,
That's another good idea.
that entrance to Town Hill.
Oh, yeah.
So that would, that and Sarah Doublet would be the 2 for LCT.
People going up Harwood Avenue, it's going to be sign, 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 sign.
Okay.
All right, so,
Visual.
do you want me to go ahead and do these? Do you want to make one more round of this? Do you want to
How-
go
how-
to approve the money? Let's put it that way.
Well, how much are you gonna increase the font? Do we have to decide on all that tonight?
That's, well, there's that, which is spending money. There is the kiosk, I assume, for at least Cloverdale, which is about $700. And then we need locks for the kiosks. I was gonna order a whole bunch of locks, which is, I don't think I've looked into the price
Key
yet.
locks?
Yeah, combination locks.
That's not ridiculously crazy.
So what are you talking, 1,700?
We are talking,
No, it was 900 for 8, right? So it's more than that now.
we're talking
Closer to 2 just for the
1,000 plus,
signs.
we're talking about 13, well, call it 1,400. I'm not gonna remember any of this tomorrow. For 10 swing signs. And I'll confirm all this with her. And then whatever it is for the 10 posts to go with the swing signs.
Would 2,500 get you in the ballpark?
Absolutely.
Pretty close, yeah.
So if we make a motion up to
Uh,
2,500?
Well, yeah,
Well,
it depends on how much those
that's
posts
what
are. because
Yeah, actually, yeah.
If you're talking 1,400 for the signs, 700 for the kiosk, that's already 21.
Any hardware too?
And we're not gonna get these all up this year, anyway.
Maybe we should make it 3,000.
Yeah, if you appropriate it and she doesn't use it, it's appropriated and get it done.
Sounds
You want to
good.
make a motion to that effect?
Make a motion to appropriate $3,000 toward the purchase of various open space kiosks and signs.
Give her a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Goal settings.
More money for signs and kiosks.
Absolutely.
I had one, I guess we're supposed to appoint a chairman, vice chairman, and
You don't have to.
you don't.
I did check that. That is, some do, and if you just want a chairman, that's fine. There's absolutely no need for the
Okay.
rest of it.
I was thinking goal setting a little bit, that maybe we should put in for someone to help Amy with the clerical help in the office.
I was reading through the documents that you prepared and sent to us, and that
Yeah, did I
blurb.
send you this?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
blurb at the top, I think which is exactly what you just said, indicates that, part-time and the high priority, and, well, really, by law, we need to get these permits done in a timely fashion, and inspections and enforcement, and It really leaves very little time, for the open space stuff, and, with all the development pressure we have, a balance would, having a balance would be, someone actually working on it would be good.
Yeah, so there's certainly
Someone to help
options.
you with
There's
stuff.
the senior hours, which has always been reluctant because they come and go. And this
It's
isn't
not consistent.
really easy, tedious stuff to tell somebody. You have to keep training them, so.
Right.
So that's a mixed blessing. Corey and I have talked for a long time about splitting somebody with Clean Lakes Committee,
Yeah.
which is a possibility.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's messy or not.
Well, the trouble is, whatever we do, we've got to have the financial aspect of it approved by the selectmen.
Absolutely, well, this would probably be for next year's
Yep.
budget.
No, I
Bottom
agree.
line.
This isn't gonna happen.
Yeah, but I would absolutely support getting more staff on board
Yeah.
to help you. I mean, your workload is huge.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on what you guys and the town want to do about the open space side of things.
Yeah.
If the open space committee is gonna become a bigger deal, and will almost take
Heard rumors it is.
the load of open space off you guys, to a degree, to whatever degree you may or may not want. And that person, that should also be staffed, which could be the same, wetlands, open space type person. And, Clean Lakes does watersheds and invasive species and all that stuff, so I could certainly see some synchronicity.
Synchronicity.
Thank you. With somebody there.
But a lot of those committees are kind of volunteer, some of them, but I'm thinking more maintaining to your
Oh,
office.
right, but if the open space committee
That's what I'd be focusing
becomes
on.
more
I
active,
agree.
then they would have staff to support them.
Yeah.
As well. I would
They
be
would have
interfacing,
staff.
I would assume, with the open space committee on a lot of stuff.
Who would support them?
A new staff person.
Me plus.
Yeah.
What you mean?
But not
additional-
like the town clerk or something, or one of the admin staff who already has plenty on their plate. My concern is we get this, the open space committee, they kind of back up and active again, but there's no ability for the town to, kind of follow up or do, some of the things to implement it.
Yeah.
Because they're relying on you is not, I don't think is realistic, or heavily relying on you. And
No,
then-
but it'd be, if there is more staff for the conservation department,
Yes.
then that should, I would tend to think, should probably include open space.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I would agree.
And there may be some overlap with Clean Lake
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, aren't we behind surrounding towns in open space, like, in terms of percentage?
I started looking into that, because someone, I think Don told me that, and I started looking into it, and we
You
were
don't think
kind of
so?
right there, but it depends. People look at open space, count different things toward open space. So I emailed everybody around me and said, hey, how much have you got? And I'm getting answers, but they're kind of based on different,
It's like not apples to apples.
It's
yeah,
like
they're not
not a
necessarily, so
percentage
I haven't gotten into it. I had the sense we were below, especially for a sort of undeveloped
Yeah.
town that has open space.
What in your,
Protected open
what
space.
basically, if we were asking for something or suggesting to the selectmen that you have, what specifically do you need for your help in your office at this given time? I guess that's what where I'm kind of leading.
At a minimum, sort of admin help, which is non-technical. But I tend to think that going forward, you guys, the town, might want full-time, especially because we rely so much on Conservation Trust. And if the Conservation Trust, if Jim decides he's had it, or Rick,
And then
we're
go to
screwed.
Florida. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree.
And there's a lot of things that even if they're going full tilt, that I think the town should be taking care of. I have no idea what's going on with the mowing. And I would love to get that. One of these days, Danny is gonna stop mowing. And then, you know, we're gonna have to get very formalized on how things are mowed, and if Magog Hill is gonna get mowed once it kind of gets cleared up. Doing the stewardship reports, I mean, getting some of that stuff off of your plates, helping Rick with the invasive species thing, which could be an open space committee thing as well. But I think, you know, the town should be picking up some of that slack.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that, I almost think the town isn't gonna worry about it, because they don't
Until it has
wanna,
to.
they don't wanna pay the extra. I'm
Well,
just-
that's gonna be the,
Yeah, until it gets overgrown or something, and then all of a sudden, somebody will decide they should
When
do
I
something.
pass away, who's gonna take it over?
yeah.
Well, what
I've
does your,
talked about
what
that
does your
many
job
times.
description say?
Don's been
Are you
saying
like
it for
50/50
years.
open space and
Wiggle on.
wetlands? Like start spending
Start
half your
50%,
time.
okay.
I'm kidding, but,
But if
I would
there was
just
a-
And like,
feel
and like the Mac Fields of the world say, we're not getting service anymore.
Yeah.
But if somebody's doing the administrative stuff, as you say, then you're free to do that other stuff, open space, more open space.
I'm just trying to figure out what we can sell to the selectmen, that's what I'm trying to,
Exactly.
at
yeah.
this point in time. It's nice to speculate and dream, but,
Yep.
which is what we should do to an extent, but what do we need right now?
Well, it's less expensive for the town to hire administrative help and then have Amy's expertise, you know, be
Yeah.
more freed up than it is to
But-
hire a really experienced.
I think a lot of towns do, like a permitting assistant that has like some
Right.
technical knowledge and can pick up, you know, kind of both, or someone who's maybe headed into Amy's career path or headed in that direction. I've very much seen, like, MACC, I've
Yeah.
seen jobs listed for, you know, assistant level
Yeah.
staff. You know, I would be hesitant to just do an admin, you know, because I think from a
With no understanding of
long-term-
wetlands or whatever whatsoever.
Yeah, you could get in trouble with what you don't know, and be like, oh yeah, sure, we can, you know,
So,
I'll fill out
an
X document for
assistant-
you.
An assistant wetlands coordinator or something?
Yeah, something like that. What's your official title, Amy?
Conservation coordinator.
Coordinator, okay. Different towns call it different things.
Which always, I don't know who came up with the title, so I don't insult anybody.
Yeah.
I don't like it too much.
Yeah.
Because it almost sounds like administrative.
It does.
Not an agent.
Yeah,
Right.
I know, I always thought you were
I
an
think that's-
agent.
yeah.
Up until like a couple weeks ago when somebody clarified, I just always thought of you as the agent,
Yeah,
conservation agent.
because the
That's what it
coordinator
announced.
wasn't quite sure.
So we need
I
to
mean, I know what I
hire a
do.
coordinator. We need to hire a
I'll put it that way.
coordinator, and you need to be the
Yeah, give her-
agent. You are an agent,
Yeah.
and that's what other towns call your position, and we need a coordinator to help. And that's the proper term for the administrative person who has enough technical knowledge to
Yeah.
be helpful.
Well, would you have any interest in seeing if we can do something with the Conservation Lake Committee, the Clean Lake Committee?
I think.
You mean splitting it with them?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what Corey's looking for. If it is admin as well as technical, but it could very easily overlap.
Yeah.
The only issue I see it is if one of the fundings goes away, which I don't know how that happens, but
Would we be able to fund somebody part-time from one of the cell tower funds? I know some of your pay comes from some of it, doesn't it? One of the cell tower? No?
no, it comes from the permit fees and then just the town budget.
We need to up the permit fees.
Again,
Again, yeah.
To rate, we need to up the permit fees, and then we can pay for somebody.
yeah, the cell towers, it would just draw down the cell tower money.
Well,
We'd like to
there's-
sell our money
there's-
for-
Yes, but there's limitations
land.
on how that can be spent too.
That's true too.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where we would, what the sales pitch can be to the selectmen as to how we're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
But I do see it, I think Amy has a lot of site inspections and stuff you have to go out on and visits. She needs somebody to kind of help.
Yeah, I think within a week of starting, I was at Polo's and I realized, like, how do I take a vacation?
Well, that's
There you
another,
go.
that's another good thing, yeah, it would be a backup person for that.
Okay, office is closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can also talk to Nina too, or maybe if someone wants to talk to Chase or somebody on the Board of Selectmen and see what they think the reaction might be.
Chase would probably support that.
Yeah.
But
So I was actually thinking about kind of this very thing today. I met with, I guess this can go under other updates. I met with Steve Roy, who did the LID, the LID analysis under the MVP grant with Aaron Healy the last time, and then Allison from ORS, Allison Field Yuma from ORS, to try to help him. We're trying to figure out piecing together an MVP grant, which is the Climate Change Resiliency grant, and so some ideas of what we could do would be some of the maintenance on the frog pond training for some of the MS4 stuff, and just tying some of that into clean water. And I mean, it's very preliminary. I just today met with them to try to understand, so I could talk to Chris to make sure we're not overlapping, and then they would.
Corey is going to do the frog pond. I hate calling it the frog pond, because it's
I know, that's
not a frog pond.
Steve was like, "What?" Steve built it, and he was like, "What's the frog pond?" I was like, "Well."
So
that's
Corey. That is
so
going to be in his budget.
To Corey, that was like
they
my
are going to
next-
do it. So yeah.
Okay. That was my next call, was to Corey.
And
so there are
and-
many other
and
things. like
Consider
trees
going ahead and doing the
something.
next phase over at Long Lake Stormwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would
so
be
there's
critical.
a bunch that falls under this,
Yeah.
but there's a 25% match for the community, so I need to get my head around what exactly is this? Does this even make sense? And as a volunteer, I have very little time for this, but it's important. So these people from outside are offering to help us, and so my next call was going to be to Corey, like, okay, what are we doing and what makes sense? But at any rate, it kind of just brings home there. If we had someone who could at least just help coordinate those things and be here to talk to Nina, or talk to the powers that be, because last time it was Aaron Healy and Keith.
Yeah.
And so I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my best with, the people I know to try to figure out what to do, and but it does seem like an awful lot of heavy lifting on behalf of the town is done by volunteers.
Yeah.
And which is good. Like, I feel like the volunteers, it's good to have people who want to do things, but some of these could easily be covered by someone who.
And I mean, especially writing a grant is
that's
a
not
really
simple.
solid piece of work.
Yes.
It's not something you spread across the year. It's like all of a sudden for 2 months you've disappeared.
Well, it's not only writing it, but it's managing the grant
if you get it
after you get it.
Right. Yeah. So they're going to write it. I'm not writing it.
Yeah.
They're going to write it.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah, but we don't have people in house to coordinate it. We have people offering to write this, and
It's seems to me there's some confusion between Park and Rec and the Highway Department as to who takes care of the land and stuff.
the MOU. Yeah.
Gets bounced around between.
I think we need more, in terms of public education, I don't know if we want to skip to that, but,
Part of the grant.
Yeah.
The Education Council.
Well, I think there are special aspects to each of our conservation properties, and it would be really nice to, team up with somebody to generate those little educational signs saying, either whether there's special species on that property or there's a special aspect to, to it. It would be more an education about the value.
And interactive, that's true.
That's where you'd put on the new sign, you'd put this one, the little plat on the bottom and tell people what the highlights of it are.
Yeah. Or it'd be great to have on the kiosks,
Yeah.
recently
kiosk,
cited
but I mean,
birds,
but-
or,
Yeah.
something like that, or, the community's types of particular interest in a particular area.
Yeah, or even along the paths, if there's a special,
Well,
like Audubon does that
Oh,
They
like
have
what type of trees?
Label
or-
the type of tree,
Yeah.
or they're nesting birds in the meadow at Long Lake
Yeah,
Park.
it'd be nice to pick
Yeah.
a property to do that on.
Because that could get pretty
Sort of a
complicated.
trial.
That could be a volunteer thing, though, for, you know,
Scout
again, like
project.
scouts. No, seriously, scouts, like little, and then
I think
like
there's
burner
signs.
scouts or
Lacquer,
something,
yeah, or
slacker,
burns.
and,
When the Cloverdale Loop's complete,
yeah,
right, you
Yeah.
got the signage along the way.
yep.
Yeah.
They would say invasive species. Oh, invasive species.
Glossy buckthorn. Here's some glossy buckthorn stubs.
Oh, look, poison ivy.
Yeah.
That's native and beneficial.
You know, it just kind of occurred to me, it seems like, I know there's a lot of money out there. If you had somebody that researched the grants as to what's appropriate within the town network or something that could dig up what is available for grant money.
Yeah. Well, and that's something someone in my position should do. I just don't know what's out there.
But I mean, how...
Gail Marin does a great job of chasing grants.
And Tom MacIver, I mean, he's.
But it's
on top of
almost
everything.
a semi-job for somebody to...
Oh, yeah.
Well, Corey is familiar with the grants that it took to do the wetland park. I mean, you got the 319.
Yeah, there's all
grants.
sorts of different overlapping grants
Yeah.
out there.
But the more.
Because speaking of which, there is one coming out, the habitat management one is coming back out from Mass Wildlife,
Oh.
which we had submitted for Hartwell 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I
And
think it had to have some hunting aspect to it.
Oh.
I think we've lost,
Yeah.
I think we lost points because we don't have hunting. It doesn't necessarily, and I asked them about if the osprey
Not necessarily a bad
nest
thing, getting the wildlife out
would be
of
any good. He said it would be great, but it's
Yeah.
probably not enough money. They have a minimum.
Yeah.
I'd like to get that osprey test done. That'd be nice.
I'd like somebody to hunt some turkeys.
Yeah, I can imagine. I enjoy our turkeys, but I wouldn't enjoy them here eating.
One or two are fine, not
Yeah.
30 of
Good
them.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should think about good night.
Yes.
All right, so let's revisit these goals. The Board of Selectmen do want something in writing.
I think you need another person. Goal, done.
Yeah.
You can't get to anything.
And they can do all the rest of the stuff.
Here are
yeah.
the nice to-dos, but you can't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, I have no problem passing.
That's why staffing is at the top.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, it
Stop it.
is.
That's right.
And we
for
did
the-
we did get the 2018 annual Littleton Land Stewardship reports. I don't know if anybody wanted to see those or not.
Somebody put a lot of effort into
Yeah,
that.
Jim- Jim-
Some of it.
And pass them
Oh,
around
that's
if you want to file, so nobody walks off with it. Andrew.
I just like to, just the Brown property, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
something it's got to be,
So Chase, they are putting together a little committee to talk about it and discuss it, and they wanted to know if someone from the Conservation Commission would be in on that discussion. I think I highlighted on the front page here. So I don't know if you guys, somebody wanted to volunteer to do that, or,
Oh, sorry, I missed what? What, to volunteer to do what?
oh, not gonna tell her.
I was reading.
Assess the Brown property for potential purchase.
The Brown property?
Yes.
it's on the bad curve on Tehadawon Road.
There is, in that package, there's a,
Does it connect with Long
Locust
Lake Park
map.
or Prouty?
It's the opposite side.
if you flip back a couple of pages, you'll see, there's a map in there that shows where it is. No, flip, here.
Oh, it shows the the bird's
No,
eye, or?
No,
Oh, and that's the
There you go.
potential development plan.
Oh.
go one more, flip it one more, I think, maybe.
Oh, Long Lake, yeah. Okay, so it's just kind of a distance
Oh, it's
from it.
down there.
You flip it one more?
I think there is
Huh.
some property that comes out near it.
So that's the property that, isn't it?
Oh,
So it
that's
can-
not near the town forest?
It's across the street.
Which one is it in here? It's
I'm
funny,
not
it's outlined
oriented.
here, but it's not
Yeah.
outlined in here.
to Hadawan Road.
That's the
you
whole
know,
property,
you
that's
go
the
down
developer's
around,
property, I think, right?
and there's a real bad curve.
Isn't that,
Yeah.
that's the
Then
entire...
the farmhouse would be, if you
Oh,
go
so
in.
this, this whole
White.
thing?
Yeah, that whole thing is
It's up
property.
kind of a null, used to be a.
23
I
acres.
think the
So
next one
are
showed
these buildings
subdivided.
on it, Tom?
The next one showed
Yeah.
subdivided, I think.
That's
Yeah.
that's the.
They've had a couple plans,
Right.
there's a plan from 2014 and a plan from 2018, and who knows how realistic those plans are, but they said it 8 to 12 lots or something like that in there.
Oh,
but-
look, it's right in the watershed leading to Long Lake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's right across.
Okay,
Oh,
let's buy
that's
it.
valuable.
Yeah.
1.1 million.
Committee is done.
That is
That's what they're
valuable.
asking for.
Oh,
Committee duty done. Buy it.
You're gonna do it,
What's the
right?
acreage?
20.
What, buy it myself, right? I have a million.
Yeah, I'll help with it.
No, Trump's dad.
Make that work.
Okay.
We could
Yeah,
run it
there's a
through our
pond
new
that comes-
grading
there's a
system we
pond.
put together, the
Yeah.
point system.
There's a pond
Huh?
down here and that.
You just did, 100%.
Yeah, I saw that.
100%.
Okay, so Julie,
Sure.
I'll send you and Chase an email and just say,
Have we pretty much beat this list of things?
CPA stuff?
Yes. So I was going to go ahead and put together an application for funding and eligibility requests for a parking lot on Boxborough Road for the Williams land, but I guess Chris Stoddard has offered to basically do it for nothing.
Yeah, I would like to say I worked him over really hard and asked him to do it. He
Nice
said-
work.
He said, yeah, okay.
I appreciate it.
So I guess I won't
Good.
go ahead with that, but if we want to look at any other projects, the filing deadline for the fall town meeting, I think, is at the end of this month with the CPC. I can't really think of too many other projects that would be eligible right now.
Will they pay for kiosks and swing signs?
Yeah.
Not really.
That's always a little borderline.
Even getting a parking lot put in, I had to stretch it last time because it's technically creating recreation, even though it's coming out of the open space budget. It's weird because open space is really meant for buying land. Recreation.
I've got a whole legal opinion on parking lots
Do you?
for open space.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
From Acton,
Oh, from Acton.
from the Arboretum, that was CPA money.
really? Oh. Yeah, because last time.
And the kiosks, that's all CPA.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
that was recreation.
recreation.
Well, what about the interactive signs that we were just talking about on the trails?
That would be, I think, more recreation. It's a tough.
So it's not.
It is- it's-
We could sway it one way, but
Let's
it's
buy land. then.
Invasive species.
that's land.
What about the Brown property? Is
Yeah.
that something that would be,
Yeah.
We don't have nearly enough money to cover it,
but
but
if,
Portion.
portion of, is it something you should put in for now?
depends
No,
what the
you
town
can't-
wants to do. We can't independently.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is it, okay, so she's
The
asking.
town's
for
gonna have to get it
1.1?
appraised.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before anything happens with that.
Is there any chase, or any chase, I read his name, any chance, I mean, is the town actually thinking that they could?
That's why they're.
It's so preliminary right now, I
Yeah,
think.
but it's under discussion.
Let's evaluate, yeah.
That's good.
Actually, it's in a position with the outflow from there into Long Lake to protect Long Lake.
Yes, well,
MVP grant.
I'm all for
You
it.
can buy land
Well-
with the MVP grant.
What about the land
When's
grants?
the land
You
grant?
can buy trees with it.
Land grant should be coming up. They did get refunded.
Mm.
And this would be
Seems like there's a lot of grant money that could go towards it.
a
Yeah.
kind of possibility. I mean, it's not,
Especially if you're far enough
it's not
out.
that special a piece of property. If land grant didn't like Williams,
But this is
Long
this is
Lake.
the single
Watershed.
feeder.
This will feed,
Single
this
feeder with
feeds
a
Long
public-
Lake.
yeah.
And we're gonna
This
have
is what
septic
it goes
systems there
across
instead.
underneath.
Climate
Road.
adaptation, that's
Yeah,
a hot
exactly.
topic now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
all that resiliency
No,
stuff,
it
that
is.
corridor.
That was one of the things
The
we talked
habitat
about today
connectivity.
too.
Yep,
Was
yep, yep.
Let me double check when the land grants.
That's gonna hit a lot of,
Yeah.
I think they're due in the fall.
I
They
think
should
it's-
have come out. I was trying to remember when I was doing the Williams one. Afterwards, I said, never doing one of these again. So let's do another one.
well, with all your new time, once we hire the other staff person.
Well, yeah, the first thing I looked into Williams said, you need an appraisal. Well, who's paying for that? And I said, and then I measured the property, said, this isn't 60 acres. Everybody said it's 60 acres. The deed said it was 60 acres. Like, run a perimeter around this. It's not 60 acres.
Really? That
yeah.
big a
It
mistake?
was like 30.
Oh.
It was huge.
Half?
okay.
How
Discrepancy.
many acres in this?
And she'd been paying
23. so-
taxes on that.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
But they are the ones that said it was 60 acres, not the town, so.
Huh.
That's 23 acres, I believe.
The whole parcel,
Yes,
not the, including the lots that are proposed.
that's the whole parcel, yeah. I don't know if anyone goes down Nagog Hill Road, they did the brush clearing on there, but they couldn't get too close to the road, so you really can't see how much they did on the other side of it. There's a lot of work to be done in there, but that's
Yeah.
not Conscom property, it's Board of Selectmen.
Oh, the orchard.
So it's gonna be a question of whether or not we can get more money thrown at it. Otherwise, the Fuhrers are up there a little bit at a time. It's gonna take forever. And that's another piece of property that should be mowed annually,
Yeah.
once it gets under control. MACC annual dues are due, which can include the $15 for each handbook subscription, which I think you probably definitely want, because it's Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions, and the handbook has all the information about what a Conservation Commission does, about the regulations, all sorts of, it's a great resource.
There's no way to get a printed copy of that anymore.
Now, I don't know if anybody else wants it.
I
Does anybody
always
use it?
get
I
it,
think-
but then I never use it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I've used mine a few times.
So who wants a renewal?
I'm digitally impaired.
You can't get a joint one.
You can't get a joint
Can't
one.
read
So I
digitally.
remember last year, we're like, could we just get like one and get the login for it?
You used to be able to do that,
I didn't remember
and
that.
they won't do that anymore.
Would they
Can't
know
share
them?
logins? Yeah, how do they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Just like pass it around. We'll pass it around on the side. You just give it to one of us and we'll just pass it around individually so you don't get accused of broadcasting.
Not that that would, happen or anything.
No.
I get mine through Acton.
I was gonna say, do you have
I don't
one?
think Acton can afford to pay for me, because I'm on the Conservation Commission over there, so.
Do you have one for this office?
They don't have hard copies. So when I use it a fair bit, when I log in, I use my Acton login.
I used it when we were developing the regs, but then I
Yeah.
haven't used it since.
Yeah.
I've used mine for like different.
So you want
trying to
yours?
Look up different situations. Yeah.
Do you want one?
I'll take one.
Sure.
You
And
definitely
I'll-
want one.
As if it's
I'll-
useful, then yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, I'll check with Sarah and Carl.
They used to have paper ones that were like that thick. I still have it, but it's so old now.
Well, I kind of like that, because you can tab it, you can carry it
Yeah,
around
yeah,
with
that would
you,
be
you've
nice.
got it, you can write notes on it.
I mean, you can.
You read it before you fall asleep.
I sadly prefer
Sounds
paper.
like-
I have a
Yeah.
paper one already too, so.
I've actually have printed most of it, because it's right
It's more
there.
useful, yeah.
Bits and pieces.
MACC handbook.
There you go.
Any other administrative,
sections.
any other administrative updates?
The Frog Pond, the CLC, the handbook, the stewardship, the NAGOG parcels. No, so unless someone can think of a CPC project for open space.
What is it?
Will they put more money in the set aside?
What do you mean for like?
Open space set aside, isn't there like $350,000?
I think it's somewhere up around there now.
And do they put money in that every year?
Yes, yep.
But you don't have to request it.
No, it's just in there for projects. You have to request for specific projects.
To use it,
Yeah, to use it, you have to put in an application for
but
funding.
they will automatically put the money, add to the bucket.
Oh, yes, absolutely, from the
Okay.
cell tower.
They're
I mean,
required to, aren't they?
Yes, they're required to.
Yeah.
There's 4 different categories.
No, you're not required to put it in the bucket.
The county each year allocates a certain percentage of the revenue that we get from the 1% surcharge into the various buckets. But we also have the Oak Hill money that gets dipped in and it's blended, and that goes in as well.
It's not Oak Hill.
It's the cell tower money, right?
It's Newtown.
Newtown.
Oak Hill is separate.
That's right. That's for me.
That's right, yeah. That's where the swing sign money will come from.
So yeah, it has a very good funding source.
Is there come to thought, while we're doing this, signs, is there a sign on the parking lot down below Morrison's?
For Sir Doublet?
Is it Sarah
No, he's
Dublin,
pla-
or is it for that?
That's
part?
LCT.
He's planning one for that order.
Okay.
No, it's Sarah Indian. No. Yeah, that's Sarah Doublet.
Sir Doublet, yeah, there's a big kiosk and a historical commission sign over there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I would hope to wrapping this thing up
Yeah.
tonight.
I'm drooping.
It's at 8:30.
Motion to adjourn?
Anything else?
Yeah, I thought so too. Almost 10.
Anybody want to second that?
Second it.
Motion on the
Second
table.
it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.